Chapter 2666. Yushu's lazy demeanor turned back to her usual shrewd self. She stood up and walked towards the bathroom. Yao, sis, I'm going to take a call. It's my brother. Oh, Mingyao didn't mind. If it was Yu Qian, he would probably talk to Yushu for a long time. It was normal for Yushu to go to the bathroom to take the call. She didn't want to disturb her TV. Hello. Yushu came to the bathroom and picked up the phone carefully. She lowered her voice. What's the matter? Do you want to give me the antidote? It's not time yet, right? Shu, I need to confirm something with you. Where's Linny now? Yui didn't answer Yushu's question, but asked directly. Linny, he's at home. What's wrong? Don't tell me you wanted to deal with him again? Yushu asked back. At home? Are you sure? Yui asked. Yeah, he's in the room. Do you want to talk to him? Yushu realized that she guessed wrongly. Yui's call wasn't to give her the antidote, nor to deal with Lin Yi. It was just to ask about Lin Yi's whereabouts. He hasn't left before? Yui asked uncertainly. Yeah, he hasn't left. Yushu was even more confused. She didn't know what Yui wanted. Then it's fine. Yui hung up the phone. What the hell? Yushu put away her phone and walked out of the bathroom. She wondered what was wrong with Yui. Why did he make such a strange call? Huh? Shu, you finished the call? So fast. Meng Yao was surprised to see Yushu come back so soon. Oh, my brother just said a few words, and he's already busy. It's not like you don't know his job. Yushu shook her head helplessly. Oh, Meng Yao nodded and didn't think much about it. She continued watching TV. On Yui's side, he also told Yushu's words to old Yu. Are you sure that Lin Yi is at home and didn't come over? Elder Yu frowned, suspecting Yushan again. Yes, she didn't have to lie to me, Yui said. She didn't dare to lie to me. She was afraid that I wouldn't give her the antidote next time. That's true. Elder Yu nodded, but he didn't relax. He turned to Xiaoqun. Xiaoqun, you have Yupanu's number, right? Wasn't he in the same class as Lin Yi? Ask him, did you see Lin Yi today? If Lin Yi didn't leave until school ended today, it means that he didn't do it because he didn't have enough time. Even if he rushed over after school, he wouldn't have made it in time. All right, father, but I have Yu Jintian's number. I don't have Yu Coiling Tiger's number, but I can ask. Xiaoqun nodded and went to make the call. Over here, Old Master Yu and Yu Wan were waiting for Yu Xiaoqun's news. Yu Xiaoqun had confirmed the news as well. How is it? Old Master Yu saw Xiaoqun walk over and asked hurriedly. With his personality, he was rarely in a rush. For Yu Ning, he was a little out of control. If something really happened to Yu Ning, Elder Xuanqun's rage wasn't something the hidden house Yu could handle. We can confirm that it wasn't Lin Yi. She didn't lie. Lin Yi was at home. Yu Coiling Tiger confirmed it. Lin Yi didn't leave the classroom until school ended, Xiaoqun said. As long as it's not Lin. Old Ancestor Yu let out a sigh of relief. If Lin Yi was the one who kidnapped Yu Ning, the possibility of something really happening between the two of them was too high. There was no way Old Ancestor Yu wouldn't be worried. But if it wasn't Lin Yi, it would be much worse. Old Master Yu naturally didn't think of Zhao Qibing as a factor. As far as he was concerned, someone who could kidnap Yu Ning and enter the hidden house, use no man's land, had to be a practitioner of mystic class and above. They kidnapped Yu Ning for money. As long as it was money, it was easy. The hidden house, you didn't lack money. If they wanted money, they could give it. If they really wanted something, they could use that place to suppress it. These years, the name of that place wasn't as low-key as before. It had spread to all the big sects and families. As long as a practitioner had a bit of ability, they would vaguely hear of that place. Although they didn't know where it was, it didn't affect the power of that place. Father, then what should we do now? Xiaoqun asked. On one hand, increase the search. Yu Wan, you'll be in charge of this personally, Old Master Yu said. Elder Yu said, on the other hand, Yu Xiaoqun, you go talk to Yu Shan. Don't force him, and don't alert him. Try to find out if this has anything to do with him. All right, I'll go right now, Xiaoqun and Yui replied. As for the old ancestor of House Yu, although he was anxious, there was nothing he could do. He could only wait here for news. The person who kidnapped Yu Ning must have a purpose. It was impossible for them to kidnap her without making any noise. So now the old ancestor of House Yu could only wait. Time passed, second by second. Zhao Qibing drove to a nearby city and booked a hotel in advance. In order to hide from the eyes and ears of the people in the hotel, Uncle Zhu used a long box that was prepared in advance and put Yuning in it. Yuning was slender, and when she was put in the box, from the appearance, it looked like a large electronic organ or musical instrument. Uncle Zhu carried the box and entered the hotel with Qibing. Qibing had booked the room online, so it didn't take long for him to get the room card and go upstairs with Uncle Zhu. Qibing booked a luxurious presidential suite. As far as he was concerned, Yuning was his future wife. She wasn't the kind of girl he could just get into bed with. It was their first time, so he had to be serious. In a five-star hotel's presidential suite, it wouldn't be a disgrace to their status. After entering the room, Qibing and Uncle Zhu breathed out in relief. Go to the hidden house to kidnap someone. If the hidden house found out about this, they'd be dead meat. Even if the hidden house didn't do anything to Qibing out of respect for the hidden house Zhao, Uncle Zhu would definitely be in trouble. And so, Uncle Zhu's hatred towards Zhao Qibing deepened even further. From his point of view, it was no wonder that Qibing didn't tell him the truth. He would tell him when the time came, and only tell him the truth when the time came. Chapter 2667. It was probably because Qibing was afraid that he wouldn't dare to go. Uncle Zhu wasn't happy about being treated as a scapegoat, but he still followed Qibing's orders and poured Yuning out of the box onto the bed in the presidential suite. Master Bing, everything is prepared according to your orders. What do you think we should do now? Uncle Zhu asked. Oh, you give this bag of powder to Yuning. I want to set up the camera. Qibing said as he took out a bag of powder from his backpack and passed it to Uncle Zhu. He then took out a camera. Oh, what powder is this? Uncle Zhu paused. This is the aphrodisiac Yao Wang made for me. It's colorless and odorless, but it's very strong. Girls will be very active after taking it. Qibing didn't hide anything anymore. I want to record the whole process of sleeping with Yuning and let the old man of house see that it was Yuning who took the initiative. This way, the hidden house, you can only take the loss and marry Yuning to me for the sake of their reputation. So that's how it is. Uncle Zhu's heart skipped a beat, thinking that Qibing's idea was brilliant. This way, even if the hidden house suspected something, Qibing would have the recording in his hand. If they insisted that he and Yuning were lovers, and it was Yuning who initiated it, then what could the hidden house do? Even if Yuning told the truth, the hidden house Zhao would only need to publicize the video and find the other hidden houses to judge. The hidden house would lose all their face. The only way was for the hidden house to accept it and marry Yuning to Qibing. This way, Qibing would have the help of the hidden house and become the young master of the hidden house Zhao without a doubt. But this way, Qibing would have a strong backing. Would he go against Lin? With that thought, Uncle Zhu couldn't help but worry. Would he be able to ruin Qibing's plan? But his power was limited, so he could only ask Lin. Let's see if Lin had any ideas. Uncle Zhu took his time to prepare the medicine. Qibing had already set up the camera, and he chose a very good angle to capture both him and Yuning. However, it wasn't clear, mainly because he couldn't capture Yuning's body clearly, but he could capture Qibing's body clearly. This recording was for old Yu and Yu Shaochen to see, even though Yuning was their daughter and granddaughter. But Zhao Qibing didn't want his wife to be seen by other people, so he had to make it a little blurry. If necessary, he would find a woman who knew how to do post-processing to help him cover it up. Uncle Zhu, are you done yet? The boiling water should be enough. Hurry up and let Yuning drink it. It's not like you can burn her to death. Qibing saw that Uncle Zhu was still shaking the cup, not feeding the medicine to Yuning. He panicked. The medicine will take effect in half an hour, and Yuning is unconscious. It would probably take longer for it to act up. You should hurry up. I can't wait. Oh, okay. Uncle Zhu wanted to drag it out a little longer, but since Qibing said so, he had no choice but to pour the medicine into Yuning's mouth. Seeing Uncle Zhu pour the medicine into Yuning's mouth, Qibing nodded. All right. Stand guard at the door. I'll take a shower first. Yes, Master Bing. Uncle Zhu quickly left the room. The first thing she did when she got out of the room was take out her phone and call Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was practicing in his room when his phone suddenly rang. Lin Yi quickly ended his practice and picked up the phone. Zhua, it was Zhua, and Lin Yi picked it up. There must be some progress on Qibing's side. Boss, I have something important to report to you. Uncle Zhu said hurriedly. On this side, Zhao Qibing has started his operation. He brought me to the hidden house Yu and captured Yuning. Now, Zhao Qibing wants to force himself on her and make it a fact so that the hidden house, you can't say anything and marry Yuning to him. What? Lin Yi was shocked and angered by Uncle Zhu's words. Qibing took Yuning away? Lin Yi's mind went blank with a boom. Whatever Uncle Zhu said after that, Lin Yi didn't hear. Lin Yi's thoughts drifted back to that moonlit night many years ago, the Valentine's Day he spent with Yuning in the cave. Although Lin Yi's strength had been increasing these days, to the point where he had the tendency to surpass the hidden houses, Lin Yi still felt complicated about the relationship he once rejected. He didn't know how to face it. The love he once missed, could he really find it again? Lin Yi tried to avoid this question, and he didn't even answer Yu Bing directly. In fact, Lin Yi knew that it was a cowardly act. He didn't dare to face this love that he rejected before it even started. In the end, Lin Yi didn't dare to face the past. He didn't want to go back to his old life. Lin Yi's current life made him feel comfortable. However, just when Lin Yi thought that he would never have anything to do with Yuning in this life, Zhuer's phone call changed the course of his life. This was a girl that he once had feelings for, and it was still engraved in his heart. If childhood playmates were childhood sweethearts, then Yuning was Lin Yi's true first love. 16 years old, the first awakening of love. However, Lin Yi thought that this relationship would become an eternal memory, but reality forced Lin Yi to face it again. Zhao Qibing? Did this guy eat a leopard's guts? How'd he do something like this? Lin Yi understood that he didn't know about the relationship between him and Yuning. Ignorance was bliss, but the hidden house Yu's anger wasn't something that they could face, right? But suddenly, Lin Yi remembered Zhu's explanation. Zhao Qibing was a good schemer, wasn't he? He actually came up with a trick like this, forcing the hidden house Yu to suffer in silence. But one had to admit that Zhao Qibing's trick was really effective. After all, the hidden house Yu wouldn't be so shameless to expose this. Instead of a life and death struggle, it was better to sit down and talk peacefully and let Yuning marry Zhao Qibing. Boss, if Yuning marries Zhao Qibing, then Zhao Qibing will really be the head of the hidden house Zhao. If we want to deal with him, it'll be even harder. After all, he has the hidden house Yu behind him. Chapter 2668. Uncle Zhu thought that Lin Yi was panicking because he thought of this. Should we think a way to ruin this? We can't let Zhao Qibing get what he wants. Why don't you announce this to the public and embarrass the hidden house Yu and House Zhao? Even if Yuning marries Zhao Qibing in the future, the two houses would still hold grudges and wouldn't be able to cooperate with each other. Second brother Zhu, listen to me. No matter what you do, you have to stall for time. You can't let Zhao Qibing get what he wants. You can't even let him touch Yuning. Do you understand? Lin Yi didn't have time to explain to second brother Zhu. Okay. Although Uncle Zhu didn't understand why Lin Yi wanted him to stop, he still agreed. He guessed that it was because Lin Yi didn't want this to happen. If it was exposed and Yuning didn't suffer any losses, the hidden house Yu would definitely not marry the hidden house Zhao. They might even fight each other. But Uncle Zhu didn't understand. Why couldn't he even touch her? From his point of view, if Zhao Qibing took advantage of her but didn't do anything, the hidden house Yu would be even angrier. It was better than Yuning not suffering any losses. But this was Lin Yi's order. Uncle Zhu could only follow it. He was a little worried, but Zhao Qibing is an idiot. If I stall for time, what if he doesn't listen to me? If you can't stall for time, it doesn't matter if you expose yourself. Just knock Zhao Qibing out first. Lin Yi said. Uncle Zhu froze. He didn't understand what Lin Yi was thinking. Lin Yi just took him in and made him a spy in the hidden house Zhao. He didn't even have the chance to do anything before he was exposed. This wasn't in Lin Yi's interest, was it? Don't worry if you're exposed. Just follow me. I just need to spread the word, and the hidden house Zhao won't dare to touch you. Lin Yi assured Uncle Zhu. I know. Uncle Zhu knew that Lin Yi was determined to do this. However, Uncle Zhu didn't have to worry about it anymore. It was a good thing to be able to follow Lin Yi at all times. So, Uncle Zhu quickly agreed. "Where are you?" "I'll be right there." Lin Yi let out a sigh of relief after giving the order to Uncle Zhu. "I'm in the presidential suite number 2909 of the DU Hotel in DU City. Near DU Town." Uncle Zhu had already memorized the address and told Lin Yi directly. "All right, I got it. Wait for me." After Lin Yi finished speaking, he hurriedly hung up the phone, then pushed the door and walked out of the room. Meng Yao and Yushu were taken aback by Lin Yi's impatience. "Lin Yi, what are you doing?" Miss looked at Lin Yi strangely and asked. "Yao Yao, something happened to my friend. I have to go out now. You and Shu should sleep early. I might not be back tonight," Lin Yi said hurriedly. "Ah, okay." Meng Yao saw Lin Yi's anxious look and didn't ask further. Yushu, on the other hand, was puzzled. Yui had just called to ask about Lin Yi's whereabouts. Lin Yi was going out. What was the connection? However, Yushu wouldn't stop Lin Yi from going out. Yui didn't order her to do so. Even if he did, she would find an excuse to avoid it. However, Yushu had a feeling that it had something to do with the hidden house Yu. She didn't know if Lin Yi could solve it. Could he resolve it? Lin Yi didn't go to the yard to drive his car. Instead, he went to the spiritual beast's living area and waved, "Phone, come out. Come out and take me to TU City." From here to Rain City, it would take more than 3 hours by car. Even if Lin Yi was a divine driver, he wouldn't be able to get there in such a short time. It would take at least 2 hours. In this way, there would be more unforeseen events. However, Lin Yi didn't need to drive because he had the Purple Thunderbolt Beast as his trump card. The Purple Thunderbolt Beast's speed was much faster than a car. It even surpassed the speed of most practitioners, especially when the Purple Thunderbolt Beast's strength was upgraded by Lin Yi to the peak of the late phase of Mystic class. Its speed and stamina were even better. From Donghai City to Rain City in one breath, it was effortless. Usually, Lin Yi didn't use it because it looked too weird. Lin Yi rode it on the street. Wasn't he looking for a crowd? But today, Lin Yi couldn't care too much. Especially since it was evening, there was nothing to avoid. Roar! The Purple Thunderbolt Beast responded and immediately ran to Lin Yi's side. Lin Yi sat directly on its body and let it gallop in the direction of Rain City. Lin Yi didn't know the specific location, but he knew the general direction. On the Purple Thunderbolt Beast, Lin Yi used his mobile phone to open the navigation map. Then, according to the direction of the navigation, he would change the subtle route of the Purple Thunderbolt Beast. The speed of the Purple Thunderbolt Beast could be described as lightning. It was even faster than Lin Yi's butterfly micro steps. Although the speed of Lin Yi's Qigong wasn't slow, it was weak in terms of endurance. It was impossible to maintain this speed all the way to Rain City. Even if Lin Yi could use the art of Dragon Mastery to recover his strength, his speed would be much slower than the Purple Thunderbolt Beast. Zhao Qibing, on the other hand, was taking his time to shower. Although he was anxious, he wasn't an impatient fool. He had already started recording. Only if Yuning took the initiative would it work. If he took the initiative, then the recording would be meaningless. So he had to wait for Yuning's medicine to take effect to the point where it couldn't be controlled. So, Zhao Qibing didn't mind taking a longer bath. He looked at his 2 legs that were getting stronger and stronger. He was very proud. Although these 2 legs had been broken many times, ever since he started practicing 1,000 legs, these 2 legs had become like iron legs. He only needed 2 more times to master the first style. Zhao Qibing was looking forward to this moment. It should be known that the 1,000 legs martial skill was very strange. Although it was an internal martial skill, when used, it could achieve the effect of both internal and external cultivation. On one hand, it could create multiple legs, and on the other hand, each leg would be as hard as the external iron leg technique. It could be said that although this martial skill was difficult to practice, it would also bring many advantages to successfully practice it. Uncle Zhu had been waiting anxiously outside the room, paying attention to the movements inside the room. However, Zhao Qibing was still showering, which made Uncle Zhu feel relieved. The longer he showered, the better. This way, Uncle Zhu wouldn't have to think of ways to delay the time. Chapter 2669. Finally, Zhao Qibing finished his shower and walked out of the bathroom. He glanced at Yuning on the bed and realized that she was still unconscious. There was nothing wrong with her body, so the effect of the drug hadn't taken effect yet. But it was no wonder. Yuning was unconscious and lying on the bed, so it was reasonable that the effect of the drug was slower than normal people. Zhao Qibing was a little anxious, but he knew that he couldn't rush it. He said helplessly, "Uncle Zhu." "Master Bing, what's the matter?" Uncle Zhu was standing at the door of the inner room. He heard Zhao Qibing's call and immediately pushed the door open. "Uncle Zhu, the drug hasn't taken effect yet." "I'm fine, talk to me," Zhao Qibing said. "All right." Uncle Zhu looked at Yuning on the bed and let out a sigh of relief. He said, "Master Bing, there's a saying, a good meal isn't too late. To be safe, you should wait for the drug to take effect completely. It won't be too late then. Otherwise, even if you record it, it won't look like it's real." "I know," Zhao Qibing nodded. "That's why I called you here to talk to me." "Oh, right. Master Bing, although this is an aphrodisiac, what if Yuning resists it? You know that some strong-willed people won't give in easily. What if she keeps resisting?" Uncle Zhu was trying to scare Zhao Qibing, hoping that he could delay the plan. "So I think that after this medicine takes effect, when the effects are fully unleashed, when Yuning asks for it, you can step in." Uncle Zhu was trying to scare Zhao Qibing. "That's not a problem. You don't need to worry. Let me tell you, the Medicine King's medicine is very powerful. After taking it, the person will enter a semi-dazed state of fantasy. Everything she sees is not real, and she will temporarily enter an illusory world. She will imagine me as the man she likes. This way, she will be very natural and obedient, as if she's asking for it. There won't be any flaws." Zhao Qibing said, "After it's done, even if she finds out that something is wrong, we have the video. If she insists that she took the initiative, the hidden house you can only admit defeat." "I see, this drug is so powerful," Uncle Zhu exclaimed. "That's right, it's pretty amazing. Don't you know who made it?" Qibing said proudly. Time passed by, and Yuning's face gradually became a little ruddy. This was a sign of the effect of the potion. Now it had been half an hour since Uncle Zhu called Lin Yi. Uncle Zhu was extremely anxious. The medicine was about to take effect. Zhao Qibing wanted to raise his spear as well, but Lin Yi wasn't there yet. Left with no choice, Uncle Zhu had to do it himself. In fact, Lin Yi had already reached the vicinity of Rain City and was rushing over. The purple electric tempest beast was already very fast. Lin Yi did not stop for even a moment. "Xiaofeng, come on, we're almost there." Roar, roar. The purple lightning tempest beast let out a low roar of victory. Its speed actually increased a little. Lin Yi guessed that it felt that it was about to reach the destination and exploded. In the hotel room, Yuning's breathing began to quicken. She woke up from her coma. Her eyes became blurred, and her delicate face turned into a cooked crab shell. A very strange desire made her moan uncontrollably. Yuning was a little shy. She didn't know what happened to her. She remembered that she was walking and chatting with her cousin Yushan. The next moment, she didn't know anything. In the blink of an eye, she appeared in a strange place. Yuning wasn't young anymore. Naturally, she knew what this feeling meant. Sometimes, she would have wet dreams, and this feeling was similar to the one she had. Yuning's current situation made Zhao Qibing overjoyed. He took a deep breath and turned to Uncle Zhu. "Uncle Zhu, I'm going to fight. Wait at the door for me. Don't let anyone in." "Yes," Uncle Zhu replied nonchalantly, but in his heart, he was very anxious. Lin Yi didn't come, so he could only prepare to fight. Uncle Zhu retreated to the door and prepared to wait for Lin Yi. However, he was also paying attention to Zhao Qibing. If Zhao Qibing made a move, he would go over and knock him out. But there was still some time left. The potion in Yuning's body had just started to take effect. Before Zhao Qibing really took action, he could still delay for a few minutes. In fact, Zhao Qibing was also waiting for Yuning to take the initiative to summon him. If he wanted to put on a show, he had to go all the way. Even if he was hungry, he couldn't wait any longer. Yuning vaguely felt that someone came into the room. She turned her head and looked at Zhao Qibing. In her eyes, Zhao Qibing wasn't Zhao Qibing. He had transformed into Lin Yi. This was the effect of the potion. Seeing Lin Yi, Yuning was happy. She didn't expect to see Lin Yi here. Was she dreaming? Yuning felt that it wasn't realistic. She was still at home just a moment ago. How could she see Lin Yi in a daze? So, all of this could only be explained by a dream. It seemed that she really missed Lin Yi so much that she saw him in a dream. However, even if it was a dream, Yuning didn't want to miss this opportunity. She couldn't see Lin Yi in reality, so she could only meet Lin Yi in her dreams. Because she thought it was a dream, Yuning forgot her shyness. It wasn't the first time she had this kind of wet dream anyway. She had already done something with Lin Yi before. Come! Yuning wanted to get up and greet Lin Yi, but she felt that her body was a little heavy. So, she greeted Lin Yi. Hee beauty, I'm here. Zhao Qibing heard Yuning take the initiative to call him. He suddenly smiled from ear to ear. This potion was really powerful. When he went back, he would praise Yao Wang. Uncle Zhu was at the door. His hand was already on the door. If Zhao Qibing really dared to touch Yuning, he would rush in. Come! Yuning saw that Lin Yi was giggling there. He didn't come over. She was a little anxious and said, What are you standing there for? Hurry up and come over. I miss you. Hee, I'm coming. Zhao Qibing couldn't resist the temptation anymore and rushed towards Yuning. Lin Yi slowed down. Yuning saw that Lin Yi was so anxious. She couldn't help but laugh, but she wasn't annoyed. She was happy for her charm. Chapter 2670. Bang! At the same time, Uncle Zhu pushed the door open and rushed in. Since Zhao Qibing was going to fight, he naturally had to make a move. Yuning's words about Lin Yi scared Zhao Qibing. He stopped in his tracks and looked left and right. What Lin Yi? Where was Lin Yi? In the next moment, Uncle Zhu burst the door open. Zhao Qibing thought that Lin Yi was really here, and he fell on his butt. However, when he turned around and saw Uncle Zhu, he couldn't help but be furious. What are you doing? Why'd you rush in? Are you trying to scare me to death? Uncle Zhu's heart was racing. He didn't know if he should expose himself, but he heard Yuning calling for Lin Yi. He thought of a solution. Master Bing, I heard her calling for Lin Yi and thought that Lin Yi was here. I was scared, so I rushed in to protect you. You heard it too? Zhao Qibing thought that he heard it wrong, because from his point of view, Yuning and Lin Yi shouldn't have any interaction. Yuning rarely went out, and Lin Yi didn't have a good relationship with the Hidden House Yu, so it was impossible for him to visit them. He thought that he heard it wrong, but he didn't expect Uncle Zhu to hear it too. Yes, Uncle Zhu quickly nodded. That's why I thought that Lin Yi was here. He's not here. It's fine now, you can leave first. Zhao Qibing frowned and waved his hand, signaling Uncle Zhu to leave. Oh, okay. Uncle Zhu succeeded in delaying the time and made Zhao Qibing hesitate again. He was happy that his identity wasn't exposed. Uncle Zhu left the room and continued to monitor Zhao Qibing's every move. This time, Zhao Qibing was obviously hesitant. He looked at Yuning with uncertainty. He didn't dare to move forward. What? What did you call me? Qibing asked carefully. However, the drugged Yuning couldn't hear what Qibing was saying at all. She could only vaguely feel that Qibing was a person. Her sight and hearing were all in her own imaginary world. The conversation between Qibing and Uncle Zhu. She didn't hear it either. Uncle Zhu's appearance was transformed by Yuning into a hotel waiter. So Yuning said, Lin Yi, was that a waiter from the hotel? What's he doing here? Zhao Qibing heard it clearly this time. Yuning was indeed calling Lin Yi's name. His back was a little cold, and his forehead was full of cold sweat. He was a little timid. Yes, if someone from the Hidden House Yu appeared, Zhao Qibing wouldn't be so timid. But the name Lin Yi had left a shadow in his heart. He heard Yuning call Lin Yi. He knew that Lin Yi was Yuning's sweetheart. He was so scared that his legs were cramping, and he almost kneeled on the ground. Shouting, the person you like is Lin Yi. Yuning was still in her own fantasy world. Due to the effect of the aphrodisiac, Yuning's fantasy was inevitably a little ambiguous. Yuning heard Zhao Qibing version of Lin Yi, and she naturally heard it as, I asked the waiter to send condoms. Then, Yuning's face turned red, and she was a little shy. There's no need for condoms. It's just a dream anyway. I won't get pregnant. Zhao Qibing's eyes widened. He didn't know what Yuning was talking about. Could it be that Yuning's fantasy was different for what he said? It must be like this. Zhao Qibing had never used this aphrodisiac before. Today was the first time he used it, so he wasn't particularly familiar with the effects of the aphrodisiac. Linny, what are you doing? Come quickly, I miss you. If Yuning was in reality, she definitely wouldn't be able to say such bold words, but she thought she was dreaming, so she was naturally bold. Zhao Qibing looked at Yuning on the bed, gritted his teeth, and stomped his feet. Thinking of his future, thinking of his deep hatred with Lin Yi, he finally made a difficult decision, and that was to rush up. Anyway, the rice was cooked, so what if Lin Yi was angry? At that time, he would be married to the hidden house Yu, and Yuning would be his woman. What was there to be afraid of? Moreover, Yuning's words also reminded Zhao Qibing that if this time Yuning was pregnant with a child, then Yuning would stand on his side. Why would he be afraid of Lin Yi? Thinking of this, Zhao Qibing decided to fight. Just as he was about to rush over, he heard a loud bang behind him. Zhao Qibing was so scared that his heart almost fell out. He turned around and saw Uncle Zhu rushing in, standing at the door. Fuck, Uncle Zhu, are you crazy? What do you want? Zhao Qibing was furious. What was wrong with Uncle Zhu today? Was he trying to scare him to death? Uncle Zhu was nervous. Why wasn't Lin Yi here yet? But it couldn't be helped. Since he had followed Lin Yi, there was no point in hesitating. He took a deep breath and decided to knock Zhao Qibing out. Just when he was about to rush over, a voice came from behind him that made him elated. I kicked him in. Lin Yi appeared at the door, and with one kick, he sent Uncle Zhu flying. He landed in the room, unconscious. Lin Yi. Zhao Qibing saw Lin Yi behind Uncle Zhu, and his legs started shaking. He didn't suspect Uncle Zhu anymore. From his point of view, it was Lin Yi who kicked Uncle Zhu in. Zhao Qibing, you've got guts. Do you know who she is? Lin Yi looked at Yuning, who was on the bed. Her clothes were still intact, and he breathed a sigh of relief. But seeing Yuning panting, he knew that the drug had taken effect. If he was one step late, it would be troublesome. At the very least, Uncle Zhu would be exposed. Isn't she Yuning from the hidden house Yu? Zhao Qibing stuttered. Lin Yi, what are you doing here? This has nothing to do with you, right? Don't you have a grudge against the hidden house Yu? Yes, but I'll tell you now, why do I have a grudge against the hidden house Yu? Lin Yi looked at Zhao Qibing and said faintly, Yuning was my first love, and my identity at that time wasn't good enough for her. So I have a grudge against the hidden house Yu. Do you understand? Chapter 2671. Since Lin Yi was here today, naturally, he was ready to face the past and face his relationship with Yuning. So, Lin Yi told Qibing the truth. Qibing froze, dumbfounded. He didn't think that Lin Yi and Yuning had this kind of relationship. He wasn't afraid when he kidnapped Yuning, but now that he knew that Yuning was Lin Yi's woman, he was really scared. Lin Yi boss, I didn't know about this. Since she's your girl, I'm leaving. There's nothing for me to do here anymore. She drank the aphrodisiac. Lin Yi boss, you'll definitely feel good later. You're leaving just like that? Do you think that's possible? Lin Yi looked at Qibing with a smile that didn't look like a smile. Ugh, then you can punish me. Break my legs, I'll definitely stand here and let you hit me. Qibing said, break your legs? Oh, that works too. Lin Yi suddenly extended his leg and kicked between Qibing's legs. Bang! Ouch! Qibing screamed in pain as he flew backwards. Lin Yi, where did you kick? Qibing was in so much pain that he was about to die. Your legs. Didn't you tell me to break your legs? I'll break your third leg. Lin Yi said faintly. You? Qibing was furious after hearing Lin Yi's words, but he didn't dare to get angry. He could only swallow his anger. Zhu, don't play dead. I didn't kick you to death. Hurry up and get Qibing out of here. Lin Yi turned to Uncle Zhu, who was in the corner of the room. Okay. Uncle Zhu crawled up shakily and picked up Qibing in fear. He walked towards the door timidly. He hadn't been exposed yet. Naturally, he was still Qibing's lackey on the surface. Zhao Qibing couldn't stand the pain, but he was a practitioner and didn't faint. He regretted letting Lin Yi break his leg. Who would have thought that Lin Yi would break his third leg? What a cheap mouth. He was so cheap that he became a eunuch. However, although Zhao Qibing was angry, he didn't dare to show anything inappropriate on the surface. He was afraid that Lin Yi would break his other parts out of anger. Although he was happy to break his legs, what if Lin Yi didn't break his legs? So Zhao Qibing didn't dare to take the risk. He carefully fell into Uncle Zhu's arms and pretended to be dead. Uncle Zhu carried Zhao Qibing and left the hotel in a flash. But when he left, he closed the door tightly for Lin Yi. After Qibing and Uncle Zhu left, Lin Yi looked at the bed. Yuning, who was in the middle of the aphrodisiac, had a complicated feeling. He didn't know what to do. Should he go with the flow and accept the fact, or should he help Yuning get rid of the aphrodisiac? An aphrodisiac concocted by Yao Wang. Lin Yi could still get rid of it. This was the reason why Lin Yi was in a dilemma. If Lin Yi couldn't get rid of the aphrodisiac, Lin Yi could lie to himself and do it. Anyway, he would comfort himself that this aphrodisiac was incurable. If he didn't do it, Yuning's life would be in danger. However, Lin Yi's medical skills were superb. It wasn't a problem for him to get rid of the aphrodisiac. So Lin Yi was hesitant. He didn't know if he should advance or retreat. He looked at Yuning on the bed. Lin Yi fell into a trance. It was as if he had returned to that Valentine's Day night. The romantic night he spent with Yuning in the wild cave. At that time, Lin Yi was worried about the difference between his identity and Yuning's identity. Thinking that he didn't have a fixed place to live, he couldn't give the high and mighty hidden house Yu's little princess a stable life. So Lin Yi made up his mind to reject Yuning's confession. However, after some time, Lin Yi had the strength to look down on all the ordinary houses. He had the strength to compete with the hidden houses. At this time, the gap between him and Yuning was no longer a gap. So what if it was the hidden house Yu? The hidden house Han, hidden house Pai, and hidden house Shuang had become his underlings. Even if the hidden house Yu was one of the most powerful hidden houses, but as the saying goes, 2 heads are better than 1. He had 3 underlings from the hidden houses. Adding them together, wouldn't it be enough to fight against the hidden house Yu? As he thought of all these things, Lin Yi suddenly felt much more at ease. Moreover, since Lin Yi could choose to appear here and say those words to Zhao Qibing, in fact, deep in his heart, Lin Yi had recognized Yuning's identity. He had re-evaluated his previous relationship. Thinking of this, Lin Yi took a deep breath and decided to make the best of it. In fact, this was also the best way to ease the distance between him and Yuning. It was the best way to get back to the feelings they once had. Otherwise, Lin Yi really didn't know how to find an entry point after Yuning woke up and let their relationship return to that time. And now, Zhao Qibing had created such a good opportunity for Lin Yi. If Lin Yi missed it, it would be a little disappointing for God's arrangement. You? What did you do to Lin Yi? Just when Lin Yi decided to make the best of it and do something with Yuning, Yuning looked at Lin Yi in horror and asked. Originally, she was imagining that Lin Yi would come over and be intimate with her. Suddenly, another person came into the room and kicked Lin Yi down. After that, Lin Yi was carried away by the hotel staff. This made Yuning shocked and angry. Looking closely, this person was actually Yang Huaijuan. And so, Yuning was even angrier. Yang bro, how can you be like this? What did you do to Lin Yi? Yuning couldn't be blamed for recognizing the wrong person. After the drug took effect, Yuning first thought that Zhao Qibing was Lin Yi, and in her mind, Zhao Qibing was Lin Yi. After the real Lin Yi appeared, it was impossible for Yuning to see the 2 people in front of her as Lin Yi. Because of the effect of the drug, although Yuning found Lin Yi familiar, she turned Lin Yi's image into another acquaintance, Yang Huaijuan. Lin Yi was about to rush over, and was somewhat puzzled by Yuning's question. What did she do to Lin Yi? What Yang bro? Yang bro, where's Lin Yi? Yuning saw that Lin Yi didn't answer, and suddenly became a little anxious. The inexplicable desire in her body was getting stronger and stronger. She was about to be intimate with Lin Yi, but was interrupted by Yang Huaijuan. How could she not be angry? Chapter 2672. However, in Yu Ning's ears, it wasn't the case. What are you doing? Don't come over. Big brother Yang, I have always treated you as a brother. Don't joke around. It wasn't strange that Yu Ning would say this. In fact, Yang Huaijuan also had some interest in Yu Ning, but at that time Yu Ning chose Lin Yi, so he didn't say these words and buried them in his heart. This was also the reason why Lin Yi said those words to Yang Huaijuan when they first met. And Yu Ning naturally knew this. At that time, Yu Ning also saw Yang Huaijuan's feelings for her, but they both understood that the two could only maintain the relationship of brother and sister. Lin Yi was even more shocked. How did he become Big Brother Yang? Yu Ning was confused. However, Lin Yi thought that Yu Ning was under Zhao Qibing's aphrodisiac, so it was normal for her to be confused. However, what did Yu Ning think of him as Big Brother Yang? Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He could only stop his next action, pointed to himself, and asked Yu Ning, "Who am I?" "Brother Jun, you said that Lin Yi had something to do and left first?" Yu Ning still couldn't hear what Lin Yi said. She was just confused. Lin Yi understood at this time that Yu Ning thought of him as Yang Huaijuan. "Brother Jun." Yu Ning's desire was getting more and more serious, but the person she liked was Lin Yi. In the face of Yang Huaijuan, she really didn't know what to say. Yu Ning said shyly, "Can you help me find Lin Yi and bring him back?" Lin Yi listened to Yu Ning's words, and at this time, he guessed something. He was afraid that the aphrodisiac that Zhao Qibing used was a drug that could cause people to be in an illusion, and Yu Ning must have thought that Zhao Qibing was Lin Yi, and because of the first impression, Yu Ning thought that he was Yang Huaijuan. Lin Yi was speechless at the thought of this. This Zhao Qibing was such a scammer. Originally, Lin Yi wanted to do something with Yu Ning, but now that Yu Ning thought of him as Yang Huaijuan, there was no way they could do anything. If he forcibly pushed Yu Ning down, Yu Ning might do something extreme. So Lin Yi had to give up his previous idea. "I'll help you detoxify the poison. Lin Yi will be back soon." Lin Yi sighed and cursed Zhao Qibing in his heart. He had finally made up his mind to push Yu Ning down. And this kid actually made such a fucking potion. Lin Yi felt that breaking his third leg was already a light punishment. Lin Yi even wanted to break all the bones in his body so that he could practice 1,000 kicks. Practicing 1,000 bones was more like it. Lin Yi took out the silver needles from his pocket and used his pure qi to disinfect them. Then, he sat on Yu Ning's bed and quickly put the needles on her body. But even so, Lin Yi still inevitably touched the sensitive parts of Yu Ning's body. After all, the aphrodisiac made by Yao Wang was nothing in Lin Yi's eyes, but was much stronger than other ordinary aphrodisiacs. If Lin Yi did not cooperate with acupoint massage and only used acupuncture, the toxins would not be discharged quickly. Yu Ning just wanted to stop Yang Huaijuan from raping her, but she saw Yang Huaijuan take out the silver needles for acupuncture, and the desire in her body also reduced a lot when his silver needles were inserted into her body. However, even so, Yu Ning also wanted to resist. She wanted to push Yang Huaijuan's hand away and let him not touch her, but she had no strength at all and could only let it go. Yu Ning didn't know what Yang Huaijuan wanted to do, but she was powerless to resist. The desire in her body made her very uncomfortable. She could only clench her teeth, close her eyes, and not think about it. But in her heart, she was praying that Lin Yi could come back soon and stop Yang Huaijuan's behavior. Although Yu Ning thought that Yang Huaijuan would not do anything wretched, no matter what, his hand touched her, and Yu Ning really didn't want this. Even if it was a dream, she didn't want this. What kind of dream was this? This dream was simply a nightmare. Yu Ning prayed for Lin Yi to come back quickly, and prayed for this dream to wake up as soon as possible. If Lin Yi didn't come back, then it was better to wake up because there was no happiness in the dream. However, as time passed, Yu Ning found that the desire in her body was getting lighter and lighter, and her thoughts seemed to be getting clearer and clearer. It seemed like she wasn't very confused, nor was she very sleepy. This doesn't seem to be a dream. As Yuning's thoughts gradually became clearer, Yuning also restored her former shrewdness. She knew that when people were dreaming, they should not think that they were dreaming, and her current feeling didn't seem to be a dream. When Yang Huaijuan's silver needle pierced her body, although it wasn't particularly painful, there was still a feeling of pain. She heard that in a dream, you don't feel pain, so Yuning was a bit strange. Was this not a dream? Thinking of this, Yuning suddenly opened her eyes. She wanted to scold Yang Huaijuan and ask him not to touch her. However, when she opened her eyes and saw Yang Huaijuan, she didn't see the previous Yang Huaijuan, but a vague but somewhat familiar figure. This figure, as the scene in front of Yuning changed, became more and more clear. It was Lin Yi. It was actually Lin Yi. How could it be? Obviously, it was Yang Huaijuan who came before. How did it suddenly become Lin Yi? Yuning was a little dumbfounded. However, although her thoughts were restored, her speech and mobility, with the discharge of the potion toxins in her body, also lost a lot of physical strength, so she couldn't speak anymore. In fact, this was also a matter that couldn't be helped. Lin Yi gathered the potion toxins in Yuning's body through acupuncture and massage, and then excreted from a body. However, it was inevitable that he had to use Yuning's own physical strength to complete the process. Originally, Yuning was burning with desire and consumed a lot of physical strength, and now it was even more so. So it caused her to have no strength at all. As the potion toxins in Yuning's body were getting less and less, Yuning was more awake, and the memories that were created before also became a reality. This was the situation that would occur after the effect of the potion. That is, the things that you saw and heard before will be released from the memory, and the illusory scenes will also be distinguished by the person involved. Chapter 2673. Moreover, from Yaoan's point of view, girls were just like that. Even if the first time was given to someone she didn't like, as long as the person put in some effort, it was possible to capture her heart. Letting her remember the truth of the previous process was also the purpose. When Yuning found out that the person she had a relationship with was Zhao Qibing, she might even fall in love with him. But now, Yuning's mind was replaying the scene like a movie. Lin Yi was restored to Zhao Qibing, the waiter was restored to Zhao Qibing's follower, and Yang Huaijuan was actually the real Lin Yi. The reason why she was like this was because of Zhao Qibing's aphrodisiac. Yuning, who knew the truth, was ashamed and angry. The real Lin Yi was clearly in front of her, and he wanted to do something with her, but she rejected him, and in her heart, she was thinking about the fake Lin Yi. Really? Zhao Qibing, you bastard. Yuning was getting more and more awake, and more regretful. She wanted Lin Yi to stop giving her the antidote and continue doing what they were doing, but she didn't have the strength to speak. Of course, even if she had the strength, Yuning knew that this was reality, and she couldn't make up her mind to do this. Although she liked Lin Yi, she also knew her mission and future. Before the plan started, she had to maintain her virginity. Although Yuning didn't know what the plan was, the old ancestor of House Yu and Yu Shaochen had warned her more than once, telling her not to be impulsive. Of course, with too many warnings, Yuning would rebel and say, "I'll break with Lin Yi, so what?" This also caused the hidden House Yu to guard against Lin Yi like a thief. Fire, theft, and Lin Yi became the hidden House Yu's motto and safety slogan all these years, putting Yuning in a state of semi-house arrest. In fact, sometimes Yuning regretted it. If it wasn't for her rebellious youth and saying such words, the hidden House Yu wouldn't have guarded her like this, guarding against Lin Yi like a thief. They couldn't let the hidden House Yu kill Lin Yi whenever they had the chance. No one knew that the hidden House Yu's old ancestor was so determined to kill Lin Yi because of Yuning's words. Even if Yuning explained afterwards, the old ancestor didn't believe her and was still very wary of Lin Yi, afraid that Lin Yi would ruin his plan. After Lin Yi removed all the toxins from Yuning's body, he put away the silver needles on her body. However, Yuning's body was sweating, and the excreted potions were all over her body, emitting a foul smell. After putting away the silver needles, Lin Yi stood up, turned around, and walked out of the room. Ning saw that Lin Yi was leaving and wanted to stop him, but because of her weak body, she couldn't say half a word. Looking at Lin Yi's figure disappear at the door of the room, Ning was suddenly very disappointed. In fact, Lin Yi didn't want to leave, but to find a dry towel. He went to the wardrobe in the outer room, opened it, took out a dry towel from inside, and then turned and walked into the inner room again. Ning saw that Lin Yi had returned, and she was very surprised. After Lin Yi came over, he lifted Ning's clothes and helped her wipe her body. Just now, he had touched her body, and Lin Yi didn't care anymore. Anyway, he had decided to face this former love head-on, and he would no longer have any scruples. Ning was wiped by Lin Yi, and her heart was both shy and warm. Ning closed her eyes and quietly enjoyed the warmth of this moment. Lin Yi naturally didn't know that Ning had regained her consciousness. He thought that she was in an illusion, so he didn't talk to her. After all, Lin Yi didn't know how long the Medicine King's potion could last. Lin Yi only expelled most of the potion from Ning's body. There must be a small part remaining, and this part, Lin Yi didn't care about it. With the passage of time, it would be turned into urine and excreted. It didn't have much impact on the body, so there was no need to rush to expel it. This didn't seem like poison. If it was poison, Lin Yi could only do the same thing he did to the miss, and let Ning force the poison out of her body. After wiping Ning's body, Lin Yi stood up again. Ning thought that Lin Yi was really going to leave this time. She wanted to stop him, but her weak body still made her unable to speak. Lin Yi didn't actually want to leave, but went to the bathroom, washed the towel with water, and then walked back again, ready to wipe Ning's body with a wet towel again. Ning saw that Lin Yi came back again, and her heart was surprised. But this time, Ning's physical strength had recovered a little, so her surprised facial expression betrayed her sober state at this moment. "You're awake?" Lin Yi's footsteps stagnated, and he was a little embarrassed. He held the towel in his hand, but he didn't know if he should continue to help Ning wipe her body. Because Lin Yi didn't know if Ning still had the previous memory, and even if she did, Ning thought that he was Yang Huaijuan, which made Lin Yi very embarrassed. And Ning was also a little embarrassed. Her situation was seen by Lin Yi. Naturally, she couldn't continue to pretend to be confused. But when she thought that she rejected Lin Yi as Yang Huaijuan, Ning was a little mad. Even if she didn't have anything to do with Lin Yi, kissing and hugging would be fine, but now... "Oh, it's good that you're awake." However, Lin Yi was a little surprised. Ning saw him, but why wasn't she surprised at all? It was reasonable to say that Ning should be very surprised. Did she think that he was Yang Huaijuan? Thinking of this situation, Lin Yi suddenly felt that it was very possible, so he pointed to his nose and asked, "Who am I?" When Ning heard Lin Yi's question, her little face suddenly turned red, but this question had to be answered, so Ning said shyly, "Lin, I'm sorry before I didn't know it was you, Then you knew after that?" After listening to Ning's answer, Lin Yi was slightly stunned, but then he asked, "You woke up after that? You woke up before that?" "And I didn't have the strength to speak before. I'm sorry." Ning was very apologetic. She felt that Lin Yi's heart should be very hurt. It was not easy for him to take the initiative, but she ruthlessly rejected him. "I really didn't mean it before. I ate Zhao Qibing's potion, and I imagined him to be you. After you came in, I thought you were Yang Huaijuan." Chapter 2674. Reunion after a long separation. However, after saying this sentence, Lin Yi didn't know what to say. After all, the two people hadn't seen each other for a long time. If something happened before, it wouldn't be so awkward. But nothing happened, and there was some misunderstanding. This made Lin Yi really feel speechless. Long time no see, long time no see. After a moment of silence, the two people didn't expect to speak at the same time and said the same sentence, which made both of them a little surprised. However, after saying this sentence, the two people really didn't know what to say. The current situation was different from usual. Lin Yi just helped Ning detoxify, and Ning was kidnapped by Zhao Qibing. Lin Yi didn't know what to talk about. After thinking about it, Lin Yi could only politely say, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" What Lenny didn't expect was that Yu Ning actually asked this question at the same time. This made Lin Yi a little funny, and Yu Ning naturally thought the same. She originally wanted to ease the awkward atmosphere between the two people, but she didn't expect Lin Yi to say the same thing as her. However, this really eased the atmosphere between the two people, and the two people couldn't help but smile at each other. Well, I'm fine, but not too well. Yu Ning really didn't think that she would see Lin Yi again in such a situation. Originally, she thought that would be difficult for her to see Lin Yi, but she didn't expect that in her most critical moment, Lin Yi would appear again. Just like before, on the night that she was most afraid of, Lin Yi gave her warmth and let her spend a peaceful Valentine's Day. Out of the longing for Lin Yi and the nostalgia for the past, Yu Ning unconsciously opened the chatterbox and began to tell Lin Yi about her longing for Lin, especially when she thought of the overbearing words that Lin Yi said to Zhao Qibing when he first entered the door. It made Yu Ning secretly happy. It seemed that Lin Yi still liked her, and his feelings had never changed. So after a short period of silence, the words that Yu Ning had kept in her heart for the past few years gushed out like a flood opening the floodgates. Lin Yi, do you know how much I've missed you all these years? From that time, when my brother Yang told me about your reappearance, do you know how excited I was? I wanted to come and see you so badly. Yu Ning began to talk about her longing for Lin Yi. Once the chatterbox was opened, it was hard to stop. After that, I have been paying attention to your news through my brother, until you went to the Ice Palace together to participate in the test. Do you know I was happy and worried at the same time? My brother said that you lost your strength, and I was like a headless fly, trying to get some treasures for you from home. But the next day, I heard from my brother that you recovered your strength, and I was so happy. You defeated Zhang Naipeo and Feng Nitian, two masters from the ancient level. I was happy for your strength, but I was also afraid that the power behind them would cause trouble for you. But now, it seems that they didn't do that, which made me feel relieved. It's just that when I found out that you went to the Ice Palace for your girlfriend, I felt sad, but also happy for her. You were willing to take such a risk for her. Do you know how envious, jealous, and hateful I will be in the days to come? But today, I don't envy them anymore because when I was in danger, you came too, which means that in your heart, I am as important as her. Yu Ning was born in the hidden house Yu, and the concept of monogamy wasn't very clear. After all, she grew up in a family with 3 wives and 4 concubines. She didn't think that Lin Yi having a girlfriend had any conflict with her. She was just happy that Lin Yi still remembered her. Huh, Lin Yi smiled. Your position in my heart is actually very special. Although I can't say that you are more important than Xiao Xiao, you are still unique. And Yu Ning was already very happy that Lin Yi said that. But after that, my brother stayed in the Ice Palace, and I didn't have any news about you. My family didn't tell me about your situation, and they didn't tell me about you. It seems that they still don't agree with me being with you, right? You already know about my background. Right before Lin, he wasn't very clear about the concept of noble houses and hidden houses. When he was training with Yu Ning, he only knew that Yu Ning's house was very powerful, but he didn't know much about it. That was why Yu Ning asked this question. After all, when Lin Yi participated in the Ice Palace test, he couldn't fight against the hidden houses at all. Later, when Lin Yi was injured, House Yu sent people to kill Lin Yi. So in Yu Ning's impression, it was impossible for Lin Yi to fight against the hidden house Yu. And the young miss of the hidden house Yu, Lin Yi said. However, Lin Yi was a bit confused. Why would the old ancestor of House Yu object to Yu Ning being with him? The strength that Lin Yi displayed now was enough to make most of the hidden houses lower their heads. Even if the hidden house Yu was stronger and didn't lower their heads in front of Lin Yi, there was no need to go against them. It was better to rope them in. Marrying Yu Ning over was actually the best way to ease the relationship between the hidden house Yu and Lin Yi. From Lin Yi's point of view, the hidden houses were more conservative and they valued men over women. If they could rope him in, it would be reasonable for them to give up their daughter, right? Yu Yuxing could marry his daughter to Zhao Guangyin. Why couldn't he marry Lin Yi? This was something that Lin Yi didn't understand. No matter what, he was much stronger than that useless Zhao Guangyin, right? Then, what is your strength now? Yuning saw that Lin Yi didn't have any special expression and was a bit disappointed. She thought that Lin Yi was still the same as before, afraid of the hidden house Yu's power. Earth-class middle phase peak, Lin Yi said. Ah, you're already Earth-class middle phase peak? Yuning's eyes widened. She couldn't believe it. Lin Yi's leveling speed was actually this fast. At the time of the Ice Palace's trial, Lin Yi was only Mystic-class late phase. How did he reach Earth-class middle phase peaks so fast? It's not that fast. Not as fast as the disciples of the noble houses. Lin Yi laughed at himself. That Zhao Qibing, at first, was just an ordinary garbage person, but after eating a lot of elixirs, he forcefully increased his strength to Earth-class early phase, and he could even practice martial arts. It only took a few months. Chapter 2675. That requires elixirs. Actually, not all hidden houses have elixirs in stock. They need to buy from the ancient sects. Yuning said. Haha, I understand. Lin Yi didn't think much of it. Wasn't he selling large amounts of elixirs to the hidden houses? Zhao Qibing's current strength was probably because he ate the elixirs Lin Yi sold. So Lin Yi had to thank him for his contribution to Xiaoka's orphanage. Right? Do you have any contact with the disciples of the hidden houses? Yuning was concerned about Lin Yi's current status. If Lin Yi could become good friends with the disciples of the hidden houses, just like with Yu Bing, then there would be less resistance for them to be together in the future. Even if they couldn't be together now, but after that incident, Yuning would be able to be together with Lin Yi after she completed her mission. The disciples of the hidden houses? Are they all right? Lin Yi smiled. I have a good relationship with the hidden house Pai, House Han, and House Shuang. Well, that's good. If you're good friends with the children of these families, then my grandfather will definitely look at you differently in the future, Yuning said. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Yuning was naive. The disciples of the hidden houses were not just good friends of Lin Yi. They were Lin Yi's lackeys. Even their elders were following Lin Yi around. How could the old ancestor of House Yu not see it? Under these circumstances, he still didn't extend an olive branch to Lin Yi. This meant that the hidden house Yu either had a stronger backer or had some unspeakable reason. Right now, Lin Yi was standing at the top of the hidden houses. At least on the surface, but the old ancestor of House Yu still treated Lin Yi like this. There must be something wrong. It was just that Lin Yi couldn't explain these things to Yuning. There were some things that she might not know. Who knew what the hidden house Yu was planning? Just like the hidden house Zhao, they didn't have any backing, but they kept going against him. As for Zhao Qibing, Lin Yi was helpless. According to Lin Yi, he should have killed Zhao Qibing earlier, but Lin Yi couldn't do that. His rationality overcame his impulsiveness. If Lin Yi killed Zhao Qibing, they would break the peace between the hidden houses and Lin Yi. Among the hidden houses, Lin Yi didn't have a lot of support. At least, he had enmity with the hidden house Yu, the hidden house Yu, the hidden house Zhao, and the Qinshan sect. If Lin Yi killed Zhao Qibing, then the other hidden houses would be in danger. If they really joined forces, Lin Yi wouldn't be a match at all. Lin Yi was one of them. He knew his own business. Although Lin Yi looked strong on the surface and could easily kill Sky-class masters, that was only based on sneak attacks. He couldn't do continuous sneak attacks, so Lin Yi had been very careful. While he was threatening the hidden houses, he didn't touch their bottom line. If he made a move on one of them, they might join forces to fight against him. But if he didn't make a move on one of them, they would only care about their own matters. They wouldn't easily join forces. This was also the reason why Lin Yi let Zhao Qibing go. But this time, Lin Yi didn't let Zhao Qibing go easily. His third leg, even if Yao Wang wanted to heal it, it would take a lot of effort. It's almost time. I'll send you home, Lin Yi said when he saw that Yuning's spirit was getting better. I'll go home. Yuning wanted to spend more time with Lin Yi, but she suddenly remembered that she was caught by Lin Yi. Her family must be panicking. Also, if her grandpa came and saw her together with Lin Yi, what if he misunderstood something and killed Lin Yi in anger? Thinking of this, Yuning quickly nodded. Lin Yi, will you contact me often in the future? Of course. I will tell you my phone number. You can call me at any time. Lin Yi said with a smile. Well, okay, I will call you when I have the chance. Yuning nodded happily. Pack up, I'll send you back, Lin Yi said. En, you want to send me? Before, Lin Yi said that he would send her home. Yuning thought she heard wrong, but Lin Yi said it again. Yuning was sure that she didn't hear wrong, so she was a little confused. Is what you said true? What's so strange about this? Lin Yi was also stunned, but he didn't think too much about it. If you go to my house, aren't you afraid that my dad and my grandpa will leave you there? Do you really dare to go back with me? Yuning stared at Lin Yi incredulously. She really couldn't understand why Lin Yi dared to go back with her. Wasn't he afraid of seeing his family? Maybe I didn't dare to go before, but now it doesn't matter. If I stay, your grandpa won't dare, Lin Yi said faintly. Don't dare. Yuning looked at Lin Yi with some shock. If it wasn't for her impression that Lin Yi wasn't a person who talked big, she would even think that Lin Yi was talking nonsense. The old master of the hidden house, you didn't dare to make Lin Yi stay? One must know that the hidden house you was the top existence among the hidden houses. Lin Yi could actually compete with them? Hee hee. You'll know when you get there. Lin Yi smiled and stood up, then walked to the camera not far away, turned off the camera, took out the memory card, and put in Yuning's hand. This memory card, there's evidence of Zhao Qibing kidnapping you. You could do whatever you want with it. And Yuning didn't care about the evidence, but after that, the scene of her and Lin Yi getting along. This video would be a precious memory that Yuning would keep forever. Yuning decided to keep this memory card forever. When she had nothing to do, she would take it out and look at it. In the past, Yuning's biggest regret was that she didn't take a photo with Lin Yi, so she could only use drawing instead. But now, the male and female protagonists in this video were her and Lin Yi. When she missed Lin Yi, she could take it out and look at it. Yuning carefully put away the memory card for fear of losing it, but she was also afraid that Lin Yi would see her purpose. Her face was a little red, and she didn't dare to look directly at Lin Yi. However, when she saw that Lin Yi didn't care and put away the camera, Yuning breathed a sigh of relief. Let's go, I'm all packed. In fact, Yuning didn't have much to clean up. She just fixed her messy hair and pulled up the corner of her wrinkled clothes. Chapter 2676. And Yuning nodded shyly, but she didn't break free. In fact, in her heart, she was willing to do anything with Lin Yi, but because of the plan, Yuning couldn't dedicate herself. But holding hands and kissing Lin Yi, she could accept it. Lin Yi naturally pulled Yuning out of the room, and then the two took the elevator downstairs. Outside the hotel, Yuning was blown by the cold wind outside, but she was sober. Lin Yi, how did you get here so quickly? Weren't you in Songshan? In Yuning's impression, she was still in Songshan when Lin Yi was in Songshan. When Lin Yi went to Donghai City, she basically lost contact with the outside world, so she didn't know that Lin Yi went to Donghai City. I am now at Donghai City University. Lin Yi said, I rushed here, of course someone told me. I will tell you, don't tell others. In. Yuning nodded quickly. Lin Yi wanted her to keep the secret. She naturally couldn't speak casually. It's Zhao Qibing's follower. He is actually my man, Lin Yi said. You have already placed your men in the hidden Zhao family? Yuning looked at Lin Yi with surprise. In fact, the hidden Yu family also has them. Lin Yi smiled. But these are not important. I will send you back first. Okay. On the one hand, Yuning was amazed by the strength of Lin Yi's ability. On the other hand, she felt that Lin Yi had too many enemies. Lin Yi had placed his men in these families. Didn't that mean that his relationship with these families was hostile? So Yuning couldn't help but worry. Did you offend these families? I can't say that I offended them. They are against me. I can't do anything about it. Lin Yi shrugged and took Lin Yi to a secluded place near the hotel. Yuning was somewhat puzzled. Why did Lin Yi bring her here? Just as he was about to ask, he saw Lin Yi wave his hand, and a strange spirit beast charged over. Yuning lived in a hidden family. Naturally, she was no stranger to spirit beasts. She even had a spirit beast of her own. She had brought it with her since she was a child. But this spirit beast was fine, but during this time, it was inexplicably sick. It looked like it was seriously injured. Yuning was very worried, but there was nothing she could do. After all, no one in the hidden house Yu knew how to raise a spirit beast. The old ancestor of House Yu saw the spirit beast condition and didn't say anything, so Yuning didn't know what to do. Spirit beast? Yuning's spirit beast was much smaller than the purple thunder beast, but it did not prevent Yuning from recognizing that the purple thunder beast was a spirit beast. Yeah, its name is Little Feng, and it's very fast. That's why I could come here so quickly from East Ocean City, Lenny said. Ah, so you have a spirit beast. Yuning was even more surprised. She didn't expect that when she met Lenny again, Lin even had a spirit beast. It was almost like she didn't know Lenny at all. And this spirit beast originally belonged to the Qian Mountain sect. At the Hidden House Summit, they wanted to use this spirit beast to kill me. They didn't expect me to take it. Your grandfather was very angry at that time. Lenny smiled. At the Hidden House Summit, they couldn't stop me. Now, they won't be able to stop me. Lenny, aren't you just an Earth-class mid-stage peak master now? Yuning was a little surprised. At that time, they let you take this spirit beast away. My strength is indeed Earth-class mid-stage peak. But there are some things that you will slowly understand. It's hard to explain in a few words. In short, I can fight people who are stronger than me. Lin Yi's situation couldn't be explained in a few words. Yuning hugged the back of Lin Yi's waist and rode on the purple lightning beast. Her forehead gently leaned on Lin Yi's back, quietly enjoying this moment of happiness. What happened today made Yuning feel unreal. It was as if happiness came too fast and too sudden. She was afraid that she would lose it. Only by hugging Lin Yi and leaning on his body could she clearly feel his existence. Xiaofeng, go to Sky Rain Town. This is the map. Lin Yi took out the navigation map from his phone and showed it to the purple lightning beast. Roar, roar, dash. The purple lightning beast looked at it and nodded to show that it remembered. Then it galloped in the direction of Sky Rain Town. Hidden House, Zhao. Uncle Zhu didn't drive this time. Instead, he found a friend of the Hidden House who was familiar with this area and used a private plane to send Zhao Qibing back to the Hidden House. Although he really wanted Zhao Qibing to become a eunuch, and it would be best if he died, he was the spy that Lenny planted in the Hidden House. Before he was exposed, he had to do his best to avoid suspicion. Especially after this incident, it would be strange if Zhao Qibing didn't suspect him of leaking the secret. So, Uncle Zhu was very proactive. Old Zhao had heard from Uncle Zhu that Zhao Qibing was kicked into a eunuch by Lin Yi. He was shocked and angry. He quickly brought Zhao Qibing into the Hidden House with Yaowang. Grandpa, I didn't think that Lin Yi would actually go. Ouch, it hurts, Zhao Qibing said as he grimaced in pain. Yaowang, take a look at Qibing's injuries. Although old Zhao was worried, he still looked calm on the surface. Yes. Yaowang quickly nodded and checked on Zhao Qibing's injuries. At that moment, old man Zhao said, Uncle Zhu, what's going on? How did Lin Yi know about this? That? I don't know. Uncle Zhu's face was full of confusion and anger. Who knows how that Lin Yi knew about it? This is really strange. I only found out the truth moments before the mission to capture Yuning. Could it be that someone else knew about it before me? There's a mole. There must be a mole, definitely. Old master, I think that there's something fishy about this. We need to investigate this. Investigate it thoroughly. Mole! Old Zhao originally suspected that Uncle Zhu was a traitor, but after hearing him say that he only found out the truth moments before the mission to capture Yuning, he hesitated. Looking at his indignant face, it didn't seem like he was the one who leaked the secret. Could it be that there was a mole? The only ones who knew about this were Yushan, himself, and Elder Mian. The only one left was Zhao Qibing. He and Zhao Qibing couldn't have leaked the secret. Yushan participated in the mission, so it wouldn't benefit him at all if he leaked the secret. The only one left was Elder Mian. Could it be that there was a problem with Elder Mian? With that thought, old Zhao turned to Elder Mian. Chapter 2677. Grandpa, I don't think it was our people who leaked the secret. When Yuning was caught by me, she was still talking about Lin Yi's name. Her lover is Lin Yi. I'm guessing that Yu Ning went on a date with Lin Yi, but I was fucking unlucky. Zhao Qibing calmed down and analyzed the situation. There was no way that Elder Mian and Yu Shan would leak the secret, and Uncle Zhu was the last to find out. Even if he leaked the secret, he wouldn't have the time to do so. Plus, he had no motive to leak the secret. He was beaten up by Lin Yi and Wu Qintian before, and he hated Lin Yi more than anything. How could he help Lin Yi? Thinking about it, this was the only explanation. Besides, Lin Yi said that he and Yu Ning had that kind of relationship. Sigh, I'm so unlucky. If I knew that Yu Ning was Lin Yi's woman, I wouldn't have done this even if I had to eat shit. Is that so? Old Zhao froze and nodded. If Lin Yi and Yu Ning have a relationship, then it's hard to say. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Yao Wang, how is Qibing's injury? Old head, Qibing's injury is very serious. This Lin Yi is very cunning. When he kicked, he didn't just kick, he added pure qi into it. He blew up the meridians around Qibing's yang part. On the surface, it looks like his yang part is broken, but in reality, even if he ate a small Huan pill, it would only heal the surface. The inside can't be healed, unless we use a great Huan pill, Yao Wang said after a careful examination. That's serious? Old Zhao was shocked. Zhao Qibing was the future head of the house. In a hidden house, Zhao couldn't be wiped out. So he quickly asked then, other than the great Huan pill, is there any other way? I can only try. I can't guarantee anything. Yao Wang hesitated and said, I'm 50% sure. That's good. It's good that there's hope. Lord Zhao was finally relieved. Of course, you don't have to worry too much. The hidden house, Zhao won't stop. Although Master Bing can't have sex anymore, he can use other methods of artificial insemination. It's just more troublesome. Yao Wang was proficient in medicine, so he reassured Grandpa Zhao. That's good. After old Master Zhao heard it, he was even more relieved. Then you try your best. It's fine if you don't have sex. This time, you suffered a loss because of a woman. In the future, you can't suffer this kind of loss again. Qibing was crying in his heart. He was crying. All right, let's put this aside for now. Elder Mian, we need to think about how we should deal with this. The ambush didn't work, so our relationship with the hidden house you will only worsen. We need to think of a way to appease the anger of the hidden house you, Old Zhao said. After Elder Mian heard it, he finally let out a sigh of relief. It seemed like Old Zhao didn't suspect him anymore. However, he couldn't think of a good way to deal with it. He could only say, let me think about it. And, Qibing, do you have any ideas? Old Zhao turned to look at Qibing, who was being treated by Yao Wang. Grandpa, didn't Lin Yi go? Why don't we just tell the hidden house you that it was Lin Yi who took Yu Ning away? Anyway, when I was researching with Yu Shan, we did our research. Let Yu Shan tell his grandpa that it was Lin Yi who took Yu Ning away. Wouldn't that be the case? Qibing thought about it and said, didn't we blame the qi gathering pill on Lin Yi last time? It was a lucky hit. It should be the same this time, right? It won't work this time. Old Zhao shook his head. Let's not talk about Yao Wang's medicine. Yu Ning will be able to remember what happened after the effect ends. Plus, she has evidence. You two idiots, you didn't even take the camera with you when you left. Do you think the hidden house, you doesn't know the truth? That, Qibing thought about it. Not only would Yu Ning remember the truth, but even if she couldn't, there was still the camera. He and Uncle Zhu left in a hurry and forgot about this. That, I was also scared by Lin Yi. I'm sorry, old master. Uncle Zhu said, sweating. Forget it. Lin Yi is very strong. It's normal for you to be scared. Even I, a sky-class master, am scared when I see Lin Yi. Old Zhao didn't continue to blame them. Instead, he said, Elder Mian, do you have a plan? Old master, from what I see, since we can't hide it anymore, other than taking the initiative to admit our mistakes, is there any other way? Elder Mian smiled bitterly. It's not impossible to take the initiative to admit the mistake. We can push all the blame to Yu Shan and say that Qibing was tricked by him. Let me think. Let me sort out my thoughts. Old Zhao was indeed a sinister person. He thought of a solution in a moment. Isn't Yu Ning and Lin Yi's lover? I have an idea. We'll say that Yu Shan was injured by Lin Yi. He wanted to take revenge, but didn't have the strength. So he used Qibing to kidnap Yuning to take revenge on Lin Yi. What do you think? Ha ha ha, I'm a genius. That's right. Qibing slapped his thigh excitedly. But Yao Wang was in the middle of inserting the needle, and the needle went into his egg. Qibing cried out in pain. Ow, my egg, it hurts. Yao Wang was a little embarrassed. It's fine. It's just a small injury. It won't be a big deal. Master Bing, don't move. Okay. Qibing was so scared that he didn't dare to slap his thigh anymore. Grandpa, that's a good move, but I don't feel good about Yushan becoming the scapegoat. After all, he came here to help me. He can't get away no matter what. Even if you don't blame it on him, he won't be able to recover this time. It's better to let him be used as trash and use him to his fullest potential. Old Zhao waved his hand and said, one had to admit that Old Zhao was quite a skillful person. He got it right twice by a fluke. This time, he blamed it on Yushan. Other than not knowing Yu Ning's value to the Hidden House Yu, he didn't know that Yushan wanted to take revenge on the Hidden House Yu. But he was right about Yushan wanting to take revenge on Lin Yi. That's true. Qibing was also a cruel person. After listening to Old Zhao's words, he nodded in agreement. Chapter 2678. Elder Mian, go spread the news as soon as possible. Elder Zhao said to Elder Mian. Yes, I'll go spread the news now. Elder Mian nodded. At this time, Lin Yi had brought Yu Ning to the foot of the mountain where the Hidden House Yu was located. At this time, it was impossible for Lin Yi to sneak up, as he was stopped by a few Earth-class masters. Usually, these Earth-class disciples wouldn't appear unless there was a major event. They were all training hard, but today, Yu Ning went missing. They were also sent to the foot of the mountain to search for emergencies. That was when they saw Lin Yi. Who is it? Get off the spirit beast and let us inspect it. The leading disciple, Yu Ba, scolded. Lin Yi didn't drive or ride a horse, so he didn't know what to say. Lin Yi obediently let Feng stop. In fact, with Lin Yi's skills, these people weren't his opponents at all. Even if they forced their way in, they wouldn't be able to stop the purple thunderbolt beast speed. But since they were in the Hidden House Yu, Lin Yi had to give Yu Ning some face, or else he'd embarrass her. Miss Yu Ning, Yu Ba finally saw the person behind Lin Yi on the spirit beast. It was Yu Ning they were looking for. Yu Ba was shocked and quickly pressed the pager in his hand. I'm Yu Ba. I found Miss Yu Ning. She's riding a spiritual beast with a stranger at the foot of the mountain. I'm calling for backup. Yu Ba, no need to call for backup. Just let us go up, Yu Ning said. Yu Ba hesitated. If it was just Yu Ning, he'd let her go up without a second thought. But Yu Ning was with someone else, and there was a Mystic Class late phase peak. He didn't know how strong this spirit beast was, so he didn't dare act rashly. But while Yu Ba was hesitating, Old Yu had already brought Yu Shaochun to the foot of the mountain. One of them was at the peak of the early phase of the Heaven Realm, while the other was at the peak of the late phase of the Earth Realm. Their speed was very fast, and they were in their own territory, so they quickly reached the foot of the mountain. Lin Yi, Old Ancestor Yu was excited when he saw Yu Ning, but he was shocked when he saw Lin Yi. Isn't Lin Yi in East Ocean City? He'd already called Yushu and Tiger Right Hand to confirm it. Lin Yi definitely didn't come to kidnap Yu Ning. Why did Lin Yi come back with Yu Ning? He came all the way from Donghai City. Old Ancestor Yu was even more shocked when he saw the purple lightning beast under Lin Yi. Of course, he wasn't unfamiliar with this purple lightning beast. He had seen it at the Hidden House Summit. But at that time, the purple lightning beast was only at the peak late phase of the golden class. How to become a mystic late phase peak in just a few days? Thinking back to how fast the purple lightning beast was, it must be even faster after leveling up. It made sense that Lin Yi could come here in such a short amount of time. Elder Yu, how have you been? Lin Yi looked at Old Ancestor Yu. He said faintly, but his attitude wasn't respectful at all. He didn't get off his beast, and it didn't seem like a junior meeting an elder at all. Old Ancestor Yu heard Lin Yi's nonchalant question and suddenly realized that Lin Yi was no longer the same Lin Yi of the past. His mount was a mystic late phase peak, and his own strength was something that old ancestor you couldn't underestimate. He couldn't underestimate a Sky class master at the peak of the mid-phase of the Earth class. To be able to kill a Sky class with the strength of an Earth class mid-phase peak, there was no way House U's old ancestor wouldn't be surprised, especially when he heard that even the vice president of the Cultivator Trading Association and the Hidden Right family's Heaven Stage expert called him senior. What else could the old ancestor of House U do? However, in front of Yuning, he naturally couldn't call Lin Yi a senior. He only said politely, "So it's young hero Lin. My hidden House U is honored by your presence. What a rare guest." "Ha, you're too kind, Elder Yu." Lin Yi smiled. Yuning looked at her grandfather in shock, and then looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi really didn't lie. He came here, and it seemed that her grandfather didn't dare to make him stay, but he was also very polite. Was Lin Yi already this strong? "Young hero Lin, how did my granddaughter come back with you?" Elder Yu narrowed his eyes and looked at Yuning, who was hugging Lin Yi. He wanted to say something, but he didn't. "Oh, Zhao Qibing kidnapped her, and I happened to save her." Lin Yi said it very simply, but old ancestor Yu knew that it wasn't that simple. Let's not talk about how Lin Yi knew that Yuning was kidnapped. Just the fact that Lin Yi was able to find Yuning so accurately was already very strange. However, old ancestor Yu didn't dare to ask too much. After all, if Lin Yi didn't want to say it, no one could force him to. "I see. Thank you, young hero Lin, for saving us. You even sent her to my doorstep. I'm honored. In this hidden house, there aren't many people that young hero Lin would voluntarily help." Old ancestor Yu said politely. "What's wrong, Elder Yu? You're not going to invite me up?" Lin Yi asked. "Haha, look at me, I was so busy talking that I forgot." Old ancestor Yu laughed. "Actually, if young hero Lin wants to come up, no one can stop you. Please, young hero Lin." "Feng, let's go," Lin Yi said to the purple thunderbolt beast. The purple thunderbolt beast slowly walked up the mountain. Yuning, who was sitting behind Lin Yi, wanted to come down, but the purple thunderbolt beast was already gone. She could only sit behind Lin Yi with a red face and hug Lin Yi. Old ancestor Yu's face changed slightly, but he didn't say anything. He didn't want to anger Lin Yi. This kid was hard to say. He might kill someone. Old ancestor Yu felt that he might not be killed by Lin Yi with his Sky class early phase peak strength, but the others couldn't. Yu Xiaoqin and the others weren't even worth one move. Elder Bai of the Hidden House, Zhao wasn't Lin Yi's opponent at all. They arrived at the living room of the Hidden House Yu. Lin Yi got off the purple thunderbolt beast, and Yuning got off as well. The old ancestor of House Yu said, "Young hero Lin, please come in." Yu Xiaoqin, Ning must be in shock. "Take her to rest and ask her about Zhao Qibing. This Zhao Qibing sure is bold to do something like this." In fact, old ancestor Yu said so much because he wanted Yuning to leave first. He wanted to talk to Lin Yi alone. Chapter 2679. Yuning looked at Lin Yi, a little reluctant, but she misunderstood her grandpa's politeness towards Lin Yi. She thought that her situation had turned for the better, and so she didn't insist. She looked at Lin Yi affectionately and left with Yu Xiaoqin. "Young hero Lin, please come in." Old ancestor Yu waited for Yuning to leave before making a welcoming gesture to Lin Yi. "Elder Yu, you sent Yuning away because you have something to say to me, right? If you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to be polite." Lin Yi saw through old Yu's intention and didn't beat around the bush. "Young hero Lin is indeed straightforward. I'll speak the truth then." Old ancestor Yu nodded. "Young hero Lin, thank you for saving her this time. If it wasn't for you, that bastard Zhao Qibing would have already. I just happened to be there." Lin Yi waved his hand. "No, the Hidden House Yu and Yuning were willing to help for no reason. I'm very grateful, and as a token of gratitude, I've decided to give you some treasures as a reward." Old ancestor Yu said. "No reason." Lin Yi frowned slightly and looked at Elder Yu. "Yes, so naturally, we can't let young hero Lin help us for no reason. We will compensate you." Old ancestor Yu nodded. "We, the Hidden House Yu, can't owe you a favor." "Elder Yu, what do you mean by this?" Yu Ning and I are considered old friends, right? I'm sure Elder Yu knows about this, right? Linny understood what old ancestor Yu was saying. He was trying his best to distance himself from Lin Yi. He didn't want to link this rescue with Yu Ning. He just wanted Lin Yi to be his benefactor. Young hero Lin, I actually have my own difficulties. There are some things that you don't know, and even Xiao Ning doesn't know. But since things have come to this point, I'm afraid that I won't be able to help you. I won't hide it then. I'll tell you the truth. The situation is like this. Although I can see what's going on between you and Ning, there are some things that I can't decide. Old ancestor Yu changed the topic and started playing the emotional card. What do you mean? Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat as he looked at Elder Yu. When Xiaoning was young, she's already engaged to an ancient sect. Elder Yu said, this marriage is something that our hidden house Yu values very much, and so does the other sect. So, please understand, young hero Lin. Although you're already very strong, able to kill Sky-class masters in one hit, I know that I'm not your opponent. But can you instantly kill a peak late-stage Heaven Realm expert? And not just one? So, young hero Lin, I hope that you can control yourself. Don't cause trouble for our hidden house Yu, and don't cause trouble for yourself. The ancient sect isn't something that you can mess with and fight against. Lin Yi was a little shocked after hearing Elder Yu's words. He looked at Elder Yu in shock. Although he didn't fully believe it, it explained why the other hidden houses were trying to get close to Lin Yi. Only the hidden house Yu didn't do this. It seemed like they had found another sect. An ancient sect, yet another ancient sect. Lin Yi took a deep breath. With his current strength, he naturally wasn't a match for the ancient sections. However, since he had made up his mind to face Yu Ning's matter, he didn't want to give up so easily. I've told the common house Yu that they owe me 2 wives. Now that the common house Yu is gone, as the support of the common house Yu, the hidden house Yu, I'll naturally put this on your head. Lin Yi said faintly, Yu Ning, it's 1. It seems like you're still missing 1. Young hero Lin, you must be joking. Elder Yu's heart skipped a beat, but he still maintained his composure. Our hidden house Yu only has 1 granddaughter, Yu Ning, and she's already engaged. Naturally, we can't give you 2 wives, huh? Is that so? Lin Yi smiled. An ancient sect? Huh? I know which ancient sect it is. I won't ask now, but before Yu Ning gets married, I hope you can tell me. I'll ask her myself if this is her wish. That's not a problem. Elder Yu thought about it and nodded. The current Lin Yi wasn't someone he could mess with. Although Yu Ning's engagement was something he made up on the spot, the truth wasn't far from the truth. Elder Yu didn't feel embarrassed for lying. If that's the case, then I'll leave now. Lin Yi said faintly, since Elder Yu doesn't want to interact with me too much and only treats me as an outsider, there's no reason for me to stay. See you later. Young hero Lin, as a thank you, I'll give you some treasures you need. What do you want? Elder Yu asked. Oh, do you have any of the colored steel, pure yellow jade, or blue crystal powder? Lin Yi asked. Oh, I do have some colored steel, but I don't have anything else. Young hero Lin, you only want colored steel? Elder Yu was curious why Lin Yi wanted this stuff. It wasn't anything useful. Yes. Lin Yi nodded. All right. Old ancestor, you didn't ask any more questions. He waved his hand at Yuba. Yuba, go find Yi and tell him to bring the colored steel from his house. Yes, Elder. Yuba nodded and went to do it. After a while, Yi came back with a small box in his hand. It must be the colored steel. Old ancestor Yu took it and passed it to Lin Yi. Young hero Lin, do you see if this is it? Lin Yi opened the box and saw that it was indeed a colored steel. It was even bigger than the one he got from the hidden house Han. This surprised Lin. Although Yu Ning's engagement made him depressed, this colored steel was a pleasant surprise. All right, this is it. I'll accept it then. Lin Yi accepted the colored steel without hesitation. Since Elder Yu was trying his best to cut ties with Lin Yi, there was no need for Lin Yi to build a relationship with him. Lin Yi could see that everything was fake. Only strength mattered. As long as he had strength, everything was negotiable. Without strength, everything was just empty talk. In the past, when Lin Yi didn't have the strength to kill Sky Class, would Elder Yu talk to him so politely? Obviously not. Throwing him out was already being merciful. Who knew? He might even use this chance to kill him. Chapter 2680. But now, Elder Yu didn't dare to do that. Although he still didn't get close to Lin Yi, it was obvious that he respected Lin Yi a lot more, and he even gave him a gift. This was a change in attitude. Of course, this is what young hero Lin deserves. Old ancestor Yu smiled. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. It seems like Elder Yu doesn't want me to stay for supper. With that, Lin Yi walked towards the door, and Elder Yu didn't stop him. The relationship between the two was limited to mere politeness. Lin Yi walked out of the living room and got on the purple thunder beast. He looked at the hidden house Yu's castle one last time and took a deep breath. He vowed to himself that he would return to this place again. He patted the purple thunder beast's shoulder and said, "Feng, let's go back." One man and one beast left. Elder Yu frowned. He didn't know if what happened today was a blessing or a curse. His relationship with Lin Yi improved, and Elder Yu didn't have to worry anymore. These days, he heard that Lin Yi's strength had skyrocketed, and he was afraid that the hidden house Yu would go against Lin Yi. But now, Lin Yi took Kai Gang, and the two wouldn't go against each other so easily. What worried Elder Yu was Yuning. After Lin Yi heard about the ancient sect's marriage, he left temporarily, but Elder Yu could see that Lin Yi wouldn't give up easily. He was just enduring it for now. So Elder Yu was worried. Would there be trouble in the future? Although he told Lin Yi about the pros and cons, if Lin Yi had enough strength, then the situation wouldn't be something Elder Yu could control. With that thought, Elder Yu couldn't help but sigh. He spoke to Yu Yi. "Gather all the members for supper. I have something to say." "Ah, okay." Yu Yi froze. House Yu's old ancestor never gathered his family for supper, and even if he wasn't here, the hidden house Yu wouldn't sit together for supper like this. Whoever was hungry would go to the dining room to eat. But there was something important today, so Yu Yi quickly went to the dining room. Yuning was the happiest. After she returned to her room, Xiaochen only asked about what happened and didn't say much. Towards Yuning's admiration and respect for Lin Yi, he didn't show any displeasure or displeasure. And now, Elder Yu was gathering the whole family for supper again. Obviously, there was something important. In Yuning's mind, it might be a special supper for Lin Yi. Otherwise, there was no need to hold a family supper in the middle of the night. Yuning happily held her little spirit beast and went to the dinner party. Lin Yi seemed to be very knowledgeable about spirit beasts, so Yuning planned to let him take a look at what happened to her spirit beast. Why was it injured? She wanted to see if he could do anything. Yushan. This time, he was also sent to the dining room by Yuba, although the hidden house Yu was in a mess. Lin Yi rode his spirit beast to visit again, but Yushan didn't know about it. He was isolated in his room and couldn't get any information. He was suddenly invited to dinner, and it was strange. Was it a blessing or a curse? However, when he saw the intact Yuning appear in the banquet hall with the spirit beast, his heart sank. Yuning was fine. Didn't that mean that Zhao Qibing was in trouble? Thinking that Zhao Qibing might not have succeeded, Yushan was filled with hatred. What a useless thing. He'd already taken the person away, and he still didn't succeed. Could he be a eunuch? He wasn't wrong. Zhao Qibing had really become a eunuch. At the same time, Yu Shaochen received news from the hidden house Zhao, and he was furious. Although there were some excuses for Zhao Qibing, but if what the hidden house Zhao said was true, then he was even more furious at Yushan. Yu Shaochen was suspicious of him, and now it seemed that if he wasn't a spy, Zhao Qibing wouldn't be able to complete the plan. But Yu Shaochen didn't get angry right away. He sat in his seat with a dark face, waiting for the old man to arrive. Yushan's face was also very ugly. Yushan's father, Yu Xiaozhong, also felt that something was wrong. He wanted to ask Yushan something, but he didn't dare to speak. He could only wait anxiously for the dinner start. Not long after, Yu Xing, the old man of House Yu, came to the dining room and sat in the main seat. He also got the news from Yu Yi that Yushan was a traitor. "Grandpa, where's Lin?" Yuning didn't feel that something was wrong with the atmosphere. She was immersed in the happiness of reuniting with Lin Yi, and now that her grandpa came and Lin Yi wasn't here, she felt that it was strange. "Lin Yi has left," the old man said faintly. "Old ancestor," Yu said faintly. "Don't think about him anymore. You and him are from two different worlds. I've talked to him, and he has his own girlfriend. You're just a normal friend. Don't think too much about it. That's impossible. Yuning was shocked after listening to her grandpa's words. When she was in the hotel room, she could clearly feel Lin Yi's feelings for her. When they held hands, she could also feel Lin Yi's feelings for her. How could she treat him as an ordinary friend? Grandpa didn't agree. That's why he was talking nonsense. Yuning felt very angry and wronged. Why did Grandpa still not agree to the relationship between her and Lin Yi? Grandpa was already treating Lin Yi with a lot of respect. What was wrong with all this? Nothing is impossible. The old man waved his hand. Old ancestor, you waved his hand. Ning, I'll talk to you about you and Lin Yi alone after the meal. We need to talk about something else now. Oh, okay. Yuning nodded and sat there with the beast in her arms. She didn't have the appetite to eat anymore. Although the hidden house used dinner was very sumptuous, at this moment, no one had the appetite to eat, especially Yu Xiaozhong and Yu Shan. Both of their foreheads were sweating. Yu Shan, you've done well, haven't you? Colluding with Zhao Qibing to kidnap your sister? Are you still a part of House Yu? Old ancestor, you changed the topic and looked at Yu Shan, his tone sharp. Yu Shan heard the old man's question and knew that his plan was exposed. It was futile to try to escape now. Zhao Qibing had probably confessed, and there was no point in hiding anymore. His psychological defense was broken, and he knew that things weren't going well. Chapter 2681. Father, is there some kind of misunderstanding? Xiaozhong was shocked and quickly tried to explain for his son. Yu Shan is a cripple. How could he do something like this? Cripple? It's because he's a cripple that he's holding grudges, right? Elder Yu said faintly. Play the hidden Elder Mion's phone number for them. Yes. After Rain heard it, she took out a recording pen and began to play the phone, recording inside. Qibing has confessed. Yu Shan hated Lin Yi, so he set this up. Elder Mion's voice came from the recording pen. Impossible. That's impossible. Zhao Qibing doesn't know about Yuning and Lin. Yu Shan screamed. And it wasn't me who set this up. It was him. He told me to do it. I have a recording here too. I've saved the evidence. Yu Shan. Yu Xiaozhong heard Yu Shan's words. It didn't matter if Yu Shan had set it up or not. He was definitely a partaker in it. He was an accomplice in this kidnapping case, and Yu Shan really wasn't going to escape this time. Yu Ba, take him away. I don't want to see him again. Elder Yu didn't ask about the details and waved his hand, letting Yu Ba take Yu Shan away. It was enough as long as Yu Shan was involved. It didn't matter if it was Zhao Qibing's idea or Yu Shan's. Put him under house arrest first. Feed the servants leftovers every day, as long as he doesn't starve to death. Yes. Yu Ba nodded. Yu Shan was taken away, and he wasn't willing to accept it. If it was done, Lin Yi would cry, and House Yu would fall, and he wouldn't care. Even if he died, it would be a worthy death. But now he wasn't willing. Yu Xiaozhong's face was ashen. He sat there in silence. You guys eat. I don't feel like eating anymore. I came here to tell you this news. Yu Xiaozhong, you don't have to be responsible for the family's affairs anymore. Just focus on your training. Elder Yu waved his hand and said faintly, Yes, Father. Xiaozhong knew that his position in House Yu was finished, and it was already good enough that he could keep his training resources. He could only sigh. It seemed like his bloodline would not have any chance of competing in the future. Yuning, come with me. Old Ancestor Yu said as he stood up. Oh. Yuning followed Old Ancestor Yu out of the banquet hall and went to a small room on the side. Ning, sit. Elder Yu gestured for her to sit. I'll tell you about Lin Yi. And Yuning nodded and looked at Elder Yu expectantly. You and Lin Yi, I think you know that it's impossible. Let's not talk about your future first. He was on a walk an unusual path, even now. Lin Yi already has several wives. Do you still want to join in the fun? House Yu's old ancestor wanted to use this conversation to completely cut off the relationship between Yu Ning and Lin Yi. He understood that it was better to let it go than to block it, and now he couldn't block it anymore. With Lin Yi's strength, he couldn't do anything to him anymore. Grandpa. Don't you have several wives as well? What's wrong with that? Yuning blinked and asked curiously. Cough, cough, cough. Old ancestor, you remembered that Yuning had lived in the hidden house since she was young. Other than training, she never left the house. She heard and saw everything in the hidden house so she wouldn't care about this. He was wrong, but he still said, oh, even if it's nothing, you should know that for the big plan in the future, you have to keep your virginity. Otherwise, it will bring disaster to the hidden house Moreover, this isn't a good thing for Lin Yi. The current Lin Yi, although he can look down on the hidden houses, is definitely not the opponent of the big plan. If he goes against the people from that place, it will be a dead end. You don't want to harm others and yourself, and let Lin Yi in that place become enemies, right? Yuning was silent. Although she didn't know the details of the future plan, because of her own future, she knew some of it. The one who made this plan was a powerful sect, even more powerful than the ancient sections. This was also the reason why the hidden house had developed so fast in these years. So what old ancestor said might not be completely perfunctory and deceptive. Of course, Yuning didn't know that even if it wasn't for her, Lin Yi in that place already had a deep hatred. Even if they didn't provoke Lin Yi, one day, Lin Yi would still kill them. So Yuning nodded, but she was unwilling. But I can keep some distance from him. I won't cross the last step. But does Lin Yi know? You guys are like firewood and fire. If something unexpected happens, then it's all over. Old ancestor shook his head and said, moreover, does that place know? What would they think if they saw it? They will definitely kill Lin Yi to prevent future trouble. Yuning was silent again. Yes, what if that place killed Lin Yi indiscriminately? So if you don't want to hurt Lin Yi, then don't have anything to do with him anymore. Old ancestor, you said. Oh, after that plan, can I be with him? Yuning asked unwillingly. Let's talk about that plan later. We don't know what will happen. Old ancestor, you didn't answer the question directly. Okay, I wanted to ask Lin Yi to help me look at this spirit beast. He seems to be very good at raising spirit beasts. Yu Bingbro also said that he could ask Lin Yi for help. Yuning raised the spirit beast in her hand and said, oh, old ancestor Yu's eyes flashed a light. He hesitated for a moment, looked at the spirit beast in Lin Yi's arms, estimated the time to start the plan, and then said reluctantly, okay, I will invite Lin Yi to be a guest in the near future, but you should not contact him in private. Okay, thank you, Grandpa. Yuning listened to her grandpa's words and suddenly became very happy. She thought that she wouldn't be able to see Lin Yi for a long time in the future. Moreover, this time, although Grandpa gave a clear answer to whether or not she could be with Lin Yi after the plan was completed, it meant that there was hope. How could Yuning not be happy? What made Yuning feel strange was that Grandpa didn't seem to care much about his spirit beast's injury before. But this time, why did he suddenly care so much? Chapter 2682. Actually, this was Yuning's misunderstanding. It wasn't that old you didn't care, but it was useless even if he cared. He had no way. This spirit beast was traded from Qianshan's sect at high price. It had been with Yuning since it was young. If there were any problems, old you would know. Even the Qianshan sect, which specialized in raising spirit beasts, couldn't do anything about it. What did old you have to do? He wouldn't waste any more time. But the situation was different this time. Lin Yi was able to kidnap the spirit beast of Qianshan's sect and even increase his strength. There was no way House Yu's old ancestor wouldn't be moved. Maybe Lin Yi really had a way to deal with this. Besides, this spirit beast was very important to Yuning. Old Yu knew it better than anyone. He didn't have a way before, but now he had a way. Even if he had to beg Lin Yi, he could only accept it. It was already midnight when Lin Yi got back to Donghai. He packed up Kai Gang and went to bed. He didn't care about Zhao Qibing and the hidden house Yu at all. It didn't matter much to him whether or not the two families fell out with each other. The next morning, Lin Yi was telling Meng Yao, Yu Shu, Han Jingjing, and Xin Yan about what happened last night. Lin Yi's phone rang. He picked it up. It was Boss Bai. Lin Yi quickly picked it up. Master Bai, you're looking for me? Lil Yi, I've found some information about your special constitution. Boss Bai sounded very excited. Also, there's news about the solution. Oh, really? That's great. What's the news? Lin, he was pleasantly surprised as he asked. Ugh, it's just news. Boss Bai smiled bitterly. Aren't you being too anxious? So it's just news. Lin, he smiled bitterly, feeling that he was too excited. It's good enough that there is news, and the news is very reliable. I only found a bit of news after reading a lot of ancient books that I brought out of the sect. Boss Bai explained. Thank you for your hard work, Teacher Bai. What is this news? Lin, he said gratefully. Linny, if it's possible, we need to go to Zhang Liju's tomb again. His research in this area should be stored on the bookshelf in his tomb. Bai Boss said. Oh, was this Zhang Liju's research? It's not in the notes. Linny paused, not expecting to have to go to Zhang Liju's tomb. Nope, the notes are only notes about elixir. It's Master Liju's most important book, but a refiner might have multiple notes in their lifetime. For example, notes on strange things. Your constitution belongs to this category, Boss Bai explained. I see. Then this should be done as soon as possible. When are we going? Lin, he was getting anxious after hearing that there was a way to solve his constitution problem. Any time is fine, this weekend. Then you can make the arrangements and we'll go together, Boss Bai said. All right, I'll make the arrangements. Lin, he nodded excitedly. What? Something good happened? Why are you so happy? Meng Yao looked at the happy Lin Yi and asked. Lin Yi had been telling her about what happened last night. Although Meng Yao didn't say anything, she was a bit troubled by the fact that Lin Yi suddenly had a first love. Why was there another first love? However, Wang Xinyan didn't say anything. She just listened quietly, as if she didn't show much jealousy towards Yuning's appearance. In fact, Wang Xinyan understood her position very well. She knew that every day she spent with Lin Yi was one day less. If Lin Yi didn't have the ability to fight against the ancient sects, then she would still have to marry Kong Xiaolong. So, this was already a good deal. It wasn't worth it to be jealous because of first love. Xinyan didn't have that much time to think about these things. Haha, Master Bai has found a way to solve my constitution problem. I might be able to make elixirs in the future. Lin Yi didn't hide anything. He was familiar with everyone here, and Han Xiaoqiao had long since gone back to his car to read after breakfast. He wasn't interested in Lin Yi's adventures at all. He was a complete bookworm. Oh, so that's how it is. Meng Yao nodded. Then I have to congratulate you. Now you can see Xiao Xiao sooner. To be honest, I quite miss her. Xiao Xiao and Meng Yao had been enemies before, but the relationship between the two was very deep. Meng Yao hoped that she could come back soon. But I still have to go to Zhang Liju's tomb. I don't know if I can find a way or if I can make it happen. Everything is still unknown. Lin Yi shrugged. Although the news was exciting, it was hard to say whether or not the notes were in the tomb. It's always good to have hope, Meng Yao smiled. Yeah, Lin Yi Big Bro is so strong. It'll be fine. Han Jingjing was a firm supporter of Lin Yi. Huh, strong or not. It has nothing to do with whether or not Zhang Liju left the notes. Lin Yi smiled. Anyways, I think it'll be fine, Han Jingjing said. Meng Yao found it strange sometimes. Just what made Han Jingjing trust Lin Yi so much. Last time, Han Jingjing was on the verge of death, but she still kept Lin Yi's secret. At first, she and Shu suspected that Han Jingjing had some ulterior motive for Lin Yi, but now it seemed that even if she did have ulterior motives, it was enough for Lin Yi to trust her and cherish her. At least, Meng Yao was very willing to let Han Jingjing and Lin Yi be together. This girl had nothing to do with the world, and she worshipped Lin Yi a lot. Meng Yao would be at ease if she was at home. There was no way she'd cause any trouble. After breakfast, the group went to school. After reaching school, Lin Yi planned to call Xiaoke, but the moment the call went through, Lin Yi suddenly remembered his identity. He was Lin Yi, not a male thief. But since the call went through, Lin Yi decided to tease Xiaoke a little. It was rare that Lin Yi was in a good mood today. Hello, Lin Yi. What's up? Xiaoke picked up the phone. Her head hurt, but she couldn't ignore it. She complained in her heart. Hadn't her brother told Lin Yi everything yet? Why was he still calling her? Chapter 2683. Today was May 20th, a holiday that wasn't considered a holiday. At least on 520 and 521 every year, it was a day for lovers to date or finally get married. It was said that on this day, couples would form a long line to register their marriage. Lin, he had been in Songhan for more than 2 months. He had just recovered from Ma Zhu's injury. Early in the morning, Lin Yi arrived at school, but he realized that today's school was different from the past. On the school field, there were actually students who hung up banners and slogans. Lin Yi took a closer look. It actually wrote, 520, Heartbeat Memories, Confession Before Graduation. Lin, he was slightly stunned. He was about to find someone to ask, but he suddenly raised his head and saw the dean, Wang Jifeng. So, Lin, he quickly waved his hand. Dean Wang, good morning. Are you free? I have something to ask you. Lin Yi classmate, what's up? Wang Jifeng saw that it was Lin Yi and quickly walked over to ask, what's going on in school? Is there some kind of activity? Lin Yi asked. Oh, today is May 20th, 520, which also means I love you. Every year, when the senior students graduate, they will spontaneously have a pre-graduation confession. This tradition has been going on for many years. At first, it was because of the popularity of a game called Heartbeat Memories, so the students will confess to the boy or girl they have a crush on the eve of graduation. Wang Jifeng explained. Lin Yi transferred here halfway, so it was normal that he didn't know the school's tradition. Oh, if that's the case, then the school doesn't interfere? Lin Yi was a bit surprised. He didn't think that Wang Jifeng would actually not interfere with this kind of student confession activity. It's considered a tradition. Also, this activity only allows graduating students to participate. Non-graduating students are not allowed to participate. Wang Jifeng smiled and said, Student Lin Yi, I'm not an unenlightened person. You should understand that. It's just that I'm strict with the students for their own good. Now that I was about to graduate, there were only a few days left before the college entrance examination. I naturally wouldn't interfere with such an event. After all, holding such an event at this time wouldn't affect my studies. Instead, it would help me relax. To relieve the pressure before the college entrance examination, whether the confession was successful or not, it was the best memory of a person's life. First love was always unforgettable, and I wouldn't be a sinner in vain. These students will regret it years from now. I see. Lin Yi nodded to show that he understood. Wang Jifeng was not an unenlightened person, or else he would not have found a lover. It seemed that the student's fear of him was misunderstood. Student Lin Yi, you can also participate in this activity. In order to facilitate the smooth progress of this activity, classes will be suspended in the afternoon. There will also be a day off tomorrow. Wang Jifeng said, tomorrow, there will be a spontaneous traditional activity. Couples who successfully confessed will go on a trip together. Of course, those who didn't succeed, as long as both parties are willing, they can also participate. The school is organizing this for the good of everyone. It's to prevent these couples who have just confessed from doing something unexpected before the college entrance examination. As the dean, my responsibility is to guide the students' views on love and values. Everyone will graduate soon, so I can't say much. I can only guarantee that before the college entrance examination, everyone can behave. Some things can't be rushed. If it affects the college entrance examination, it will be a big deal. As for after the college entrance examination, you will be a university student. Some universities can even get married, so why should I interfere? After listening to Director Wang Jifeng's words for the first time, Lin Yi felt that this person's image was very tall. Although he had some small shortcomings, he was serious and responsible for teaching students, which made Lin Yi very moved. Director Wang, with a dean like you in the school, no wonder the first senior high school's results have always been among the best. It's really not easy to achieve the results of a private school like this. Wang Jifeng listened to Lin Yi's praise and grinned. It was not easy to make Lin Yi flatter him. Since Lin Yi knew his privacy, there was no need for Lin Yi to flatter him. Therefore, what Lin Yi said at this time must be true. How could Wang Jifeng not be happy? Director Wang, I will talk to Uncle Chu. You are a serious and responsible dean. Linny said. Ha, Linny classmate, thank you very much. Wang Jifeng was overjoyed. This sentence from Lin Yi could very well increase Wang Jifeng's salary. Lin Yi originally wanted to go to the school building, but after thinking about it, he turned around and left the school. He went to a flower shop near the school and ordered a bouquet of flowers. He was going to confess to Tang Yun in the afternoon. Although Lin Yi gave Tang Yun a ring before this kind of confession activity before graduation, Lin Yi still wanted to participate. Wang Jifeng was right. This was a beautiful memory before graduation. Although Lin Yi believed that he and Tang Yun could walk the path of love for the rest of their lives, the more memories, the better. However, Lin Yi suddenly remembered that Meng Yao and Shu didn't need Lin Yi to accompany them this morning. They went to school by themselves and picked up Tang Yun. Could it be that they already knew about this 520 heartbeat memory activity before graduation? They were also going to confess to someone else? Lin Yi shook his head. He didn't think that Meng Yao would confess to someone else. There must be something else. In fact, Meng Yao sent Lin Yi away because she didn't want Yushu to say anything. This girl had been nagging Meng Yao for the whole night. Meng Yao couldn't sleep well at all. Yao sis, this is a confession before graduation. If you don't grab this opportunity, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Yushu continued. There is only one chance. If Tang Yun gets it first, we won't have a chance anymore. What do you mean we? If you want to confess, you can do it yourself. Why drag me into it? I already said that I am grateful to Lin Yi, but gratitude doesn't mean that I like him. Meng Yao said. Yao sis, you don't mean what you say. Yushu said. Whatever you say. It's your mouth anyway, Meng Yao said. Yao sis is guilty. Otherwise, if Shu said anything, you would have torn Shu's mouth apart. Yushu said. Are you asking for a beating? Meng Yao reached out her hand and pretended to hit Yushu. Chapter 2684. You go play with Tang Yun, don't drag me along, Meng Yao said, troubled. Ah, Yao sis, how did you know I was talking about you? You must have something in your heart. That's why you said it, Yushu said, surprised. Tang Yun is here. Meng Yao pointed not far away and said helplessly. Oh, Yushu raised her head and saw Tang Yun walking over. She closed her mouth helplessly. Tang Yun, be polite when she's here. You promised me that you will be friends with her, Meng Yao reminded Yushu. Okay, I got it. I won't attack her, but it's hard to change if you change your attitude all of a sudden. Yushu said. Tang Yun walked over and opened the car door, surprised. She didn't expect Meng Yao to be the driver and not Lin. Hey, what? It's you guys? Where's Lin Yi? Lin Yi left first today. Shu, and I will pick you up, Meng Yao said. Isn't today the school's traditional confession day? She wants to confess to Lin Yi. She wants to ask if you're okay with it. She wants to confess to Lin Yi? Tang Yun froze. She didn't know how to react to Meng Yao's question. Then why are you telling me? You're Lin Yi's girlfriend, so I need to ask for your opinion. Meng Yao didn't know if the question was for herself or for Shu, but she treated it as a question for Shu. Some things could only come out of her mouth when asked by someone else. This is her freedom. It would be a lie to say that Tang Yun didn't know that Meng Yao and Yushu liked Lin Yi. Tang Yun saw how much they cared for Lin Yi when Lin Yi was injured by Ma Zhu. Plus, when Lin Yi wanted to go back to West Star Village, Meng Yao also decided to go with him. If Tang Yun didn't notice anything, she would be too insensitive. She was a girl, and there were some things that she understood more than Lin Yi. Although Meng Yao had always said that she didn't like Lin Yi, Tang Yun felt that even if she didn't like him, she would still have feelings for Lin Yi, and Yushu would definitely like Lin Yi. Although she already knew about it, she didn't know how to respond to Meng Yao's words. She was also a traditional girl. How could she accept all of this at once? As a result, she wasn't able to go back to Star West Village with Lin Yi. She was a little disappointed, but at the same time relieved at the same time. After all, Meng Yao and Yushu couldn't go back with them. In school, Lin Yi was only Meng Yao's follower and bodyguard, but in what capacity would they be able to stay by Lin Yi's side after returning to Star West Village? They might have been friends at first, but as time went by, they became friends. They would definitely become lovers. Would Tang Yin accept it or not? If they didn't accept it, could they chase them back? Of course not. Tang Yin could only accept it. Even though she was mentally prepared, Tang Yin still felt conflicted. All right, Yin Yin, I was just joking with you. Don't take it seriously. Shu is like this, always saying that she likes Lin Yi. But if she really liked Lin, she would have done something with Lin Yi a long time ago. A man and a woman living together in a villa. Do you think they would still be like this? Meng Yao was just testing Tang Yin. Seeing that Tang Yin didn't know what to do, she changed the topic with a smile. Oh, I know. Tang Yin nodded. Although she was relieved, she still felt that there was something wrong. Was Meng Yao just comforting her? However, Tang Yin had already prepared for the worst. Some things, the more you rejected, the more problems there would be. It was better to let nature take its course. Lin Yi's choice was Tang Yin's choice. Tang Yin got in the car. Meng Yao started the car and drove to a gift shop. What are we doing here? Tang Yin asked curiously. Shu was going to confess to Lin Yi in the afternoon. Yin Yin, do you want to get one too? Meng Yao asked. Me? I don't think so. Tang Yin forced a smile. She was Lin Yi's girlfriend, but she had to confess to Lin Yi with Yushu. She felt conflicted no matter what. She might as well not confess at all. Oh, Shu, just buy a card then. Don't buy any gifts, Meng Yao said to Yushu, noticing Tang Yin's disappointment. Oh, Yushu listened to Meng Yao this time. She didn't say anything and went to the gift shop. After a while, she came back with a red card with a big heart on it. Tang Yin pretended that she didn't see it. She was silent on the way to school. She didn't say anything when she reached school. She just walked to class 9 quietly. Looking at Tang Yin's back, Meng Yao felt her heart ache. She shouldn't have let Shu continue like this. She snatched the card from Yushu's hand. Yao Yao, what are you doing? Yushu asked curiously, startled. You don't have to give this card. You can confess any time you want. You don't have to do it today, Meng Yao said. Oh, Yushu was a little depressed. Small wives don't have human rights. You know you're a small wife now. Can't you be more obedient? Small wives don't have human rights in front of the big wife. Meng Yao humphed. Then Yao Yao, if you admit that you're the big wife, I'll listen to you. Yushu said. Then I'll admit it reluctantly. Meng Yao said casually. Oh, recording finished. Yushu raised the recording pen in her hand happily. I'll play it for Shield Bro. He doesn't know that I'm talking about his big wife. Meng Yao curled her lips. Doesn't he know now? You confessed without being pressed. Yushu said. Meng Yao was speechless. She snatched the recording pen from Yushu's hand. I'll let you record it. Yushu's joy turned to sorrow. Meng Yao passed the heart-shaped card to Lin Yi, asking Lin Yi to give it to Tang Yin in the afternoon. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. The miss went out so early in the morning just to buy a card for him. Wasn't her concern for him a little out of the ordinary? In the afternoon, the school field became extremely lively. However, basically, the third-year students stood separately according to their respective classes. Although there were many people watching the fun, there were still very few who actually went on the stage to confess to the person they liked in front of the whole grade. Chapter 2685. What Lenny didn't expect was that the first person to go up was Pin Liang. Yao Yao, on this special day, I confess to you. I like you, and I swear that one day, I'll make you my girlfriend. Pin Liang wasn't very cultured, and his declaration of love was very simple. But with his opening, the atmosphere heated up instantly. Unfortunately, Meng Yao didn't go up to give a response. Pin Liang's confession failed. This situation was within Pin Liang's expectations. He didn't think that Meng Yao would accept his confession, but he wasn't too sad. He shook his head and walked down from the stage, leaving with Xiaofu. He didn't know what they were going to do, but he didn't have the face to stay after the confession failed. With Pin Liang's opening, things got a lot more lively. 3 or 4 more students went up to confess, but only one succeeded. Looking at the girl's eyes, it seemed like the two had been together for a long time, and the confession was just an excuse. But up until now, no girl had come up to confess. It was all boys. Actually, there were girls who had crushes on other boys, but they didn't go up because they were too embarrassed. What was even more unexpected was that the first girl to confess was Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao walked up the stage and picked up the microphone very naturally, not showing any stage fright at all. I know that my confession this time won't work, but I've been waiting for you for a long time, so I've been waiting for you. But in order to be a role model for all the girls, I've decided to be the first. Lenny watched as Xiao Xiao went up. His heart tightened. This girl wasn't going to confess to him, was she? If he'd known this would happen, he would have confessed to Tang Yin first. It was supposed to be a good thing, but Xiao Xiao's interference changed everything. Xiao Xiao's name was still very famous. The little witch had left for 2 years, but now that she was back, most of the 12th grade students still remembered her. So, whether it was flattery or sincere cheering, everyone cheered. As for me, I'm going to confess to someone today. I'm sure that this person knows that I'm confessing to him. I know that he won't accept my confession on stage. That's why I won't say his name. Xiao Xiao looked in Lin Yi's direction and smiled. All right, my confession is over. Let's continue. With that, Xiao Xiao walked down the stage casually. Xiao Xiao's confession surprised Lin Yi. At the same time, he felt that this was really a strange and smart girl. She didn't say Lin Yi's name on this occasion, but her purpose of confession had been achieved. She didn't want to embarrass herself. It would not bring any trouble to Lin Yi, which made Lin Yi feel that. Xiao Xiao was hard to deal with. He didn't know what this girl was thinking. After Xiao Xiao's confession was over, Lin Yi didn't wait any longer. He walked up to the temporary gymnasium, ready to confess to Tang Yun. Lin Yi had replaced Zhou Ruoming and Pin Liang as the new Big Four, and pretty much everyone knew about Lin Yi and Tang Yun. So, when Lin Yi got on stage, the crowd started chanting Tang Yun's name, helping Lin Yi. Tang Yun's face was very red. She was surprised by Xiao Xiao's confession as well, but Xiao Xiao had obviously left some leeway so that it wouldn't embarrass everyone. Tang Yun had a good impression of Xiao Xiao. Tang Yun got on stage under everyone's chanting, and Lin Yi didn't say anything either. He just handed the heart card and flowers to Tang Yun. All the words he wanted to say were in this card and flowers. Tang Yun blushed as she accepted the card and flowers, but when she picked up the heart card, she was a little surprised. Tang Yun clearly remembered that Yushu bought this card this morning. Wasn't she going to confess to Lin Yi? Why did she give the card to Lin Yi? Could be that Lin Yi gave it to her. Tang Yun opened the card curiously and saw that it was Lin Yi's handwriting. It was simple, but it tugged at her heartstrings. Can't forget the summer, the shade, the ring, the promise. One short line, but it expressed Lin Yi's heartfelt feelings, as well as Lin Yi's lifelong promise to her. Tang Yun planned to treasure this card forever, put it in a frame, and put it on her bed, but this also proved that this card wasn't a prop for Yushu to confess to Lin Yi. It was a real gift to Lin Yi. There was no meaning to it. Tang Yun looked at Meng Yao and Yushu, a look of gratitude in her eyes. No matter what, she was very satisfied with today's confession event. Both Xiao Xiao and Yushu hadn't messed around, and they hadn't messed around with her. Yushu looked at Tang Yun's figure on stage, a little envious. Yao Yao, it's all your fault. You didn't let me go up there, otherwise I confess to Shield Bro. He'd definitely accept it. Keep dreaming, Meng Yao said disdainfully. If he doesn't come up, I'll tell him about how he kissed me and saw me naked. Yushu said, you can tell him if you don't think it's embarrassing. Meng Yao said casually. Oh, forget it then. Yushu sighed and mumbled to herself. I'll leave sooner or later anyway. I'm just a passerby. I just want to leave behind a beautiful memory. What did you say? Meng Yao didn't hear it clearly, not knowing what Yushu said. Nothing. Yushu shook her head and sighed. Meng Yao didn't understand what Yushu was talking about, and she didn't know that after a certain amount of time, she, Tang Yun, Xiao Xiao, and Yushu would all leave one by one and reunite with them one by one. This period of high school had turned into a beautiful memory. Recalling it in another time and place, he was filled with emotions. But no one could predict the future, not even Prophet Shu. Otherwise, the four of them confessing to Lin Yi would make this memory even more beautiful, The confession event ended satisfactorily without any trouble. Jifeng let out a breath of relief. Tomorrow's event would be the last group activity before graduation, and Jifeng would participate the whole time. He didn't want anything to happen. Chapter 2686. Haha, Xiaoka, I just had nothing better to do, so I called you. Lin Yi really didn't have anything to do this time. It was the male thief who wanted to go to Zhang Liju's tomb, not Lin Yi. Nothing? Xiaoka's face darkened. She was right. Lin Yi really did have feelings for her. Otherwise, why would he call her for nothing? Xiaoka didn't have a good impression of Lin Yi, but Lin Yi wasn't someone who had nothing better to do. Yeah, but I do have something to do. Are you free this Friday night? Lin Yi asked. Huh? This Friday? Xiaoka paused, stunned. Was Lin Yi asking her out? Was he asking her out on a date? Going out for dinner? What was meant to come had finally come. I have some ideas for the future of the orphanage that I want to talk to you. If you don't want to go, then forget it, Lin Yi said faintly. I'll go. Xiaoka gritted her teeth. Haha, that's fine. I thought you didn't want to build the orphanage anymore. Lin Yi felt that teasing Xiaoka was quite interesting, especially after having two identities. Lin Yi had a weird sense of humor when Xiaoka flipped out. But for dinner, I'm a big eater, so I won't go if I don't have enough to eat. Let's get this straight. How much are you going to pay me? Xiaoka asked. 1,000. That should be enough, right? Lin Yi didn't expect Xiaoka to say this, but he answered anyway. 1,800. That's not enough. It's not even enough to fill my teeth. It's at least 18,000. Is that okay? Xiaoka asked back. Lin Yi was speechless. 1,000 became 18,000, but Lin Yi didn't mind it too much. He nodded. All right, 18,000 is fine. See you this weekend. Xiaoka hung up the phone and sighed helplessly. What should she do now? What should he do? Should I make it clear to Lin Yi then? But what if Lin Yi stopped building the orphanage out of anger? But if he didn't make it clear, could it be that he had to submit to Lin Yi? If that happened, Xiaoka wouldn't feel good about it. What about the male thief? Xiaoka was in a dilemma. But just as Xiaoka was in a dilemma, her phone rang again. She thought it was still Lin Yi, but when she picked it up, she realized that it was an unfamiliar number. Xiaoka picked up the phone, confused. Hello. Is that the Flying Sparrow heroine? Lin Yi pretended to be the male thief's voice. He used the school's public phone to make the call. Since he was pretending to be the male thief, he naturally couldn't use his phone number. You're a male thief? Xiaoka heard the voice and the way he addressed her. She immediately realized that the caller was a male thief. She was extremely excited. Male thief, it really is you? I missed you so much. You finally called me. Lin Yi didn't know what to say from Xiaoka's sudden change in attitude. Wasn't this change a little too fast? After calming himself down, Lin Yi said, It's me, male thief. Why are you looking for me? Xiaoka asked. Where do you miss me? Why don't you call me? It's like this. I want to go to Zhang Liju's tomb again to get something. Do you have time? Do you want to go with me? Lin Yi asked. Yeah, I'll go with you. Xiaoka didn't even think about it before agreeing to go on a date with Lin Yi. Her gloomy mood was swept away. All right, let's go this Friday night. We'll go together, Lin Yi said. All right, what? Friday night? Xiaoka paused. She remembered that Lin Yi asked her out, and her heart skipped a beat. Why did Lin Yi have to ask her out now? Of all the times, why did he have to ask her out now? It was the same time as the male thieves. What's wrong? Do you have something to do? Lin Yi pretended to be surprised. Oh, nothing. It's just that a friend asked me out for dinner. It's also Friday. Xiaoka didn't want to lie to the male thief, so she told him the truth. Friend asked you out for dinner? Boyfriend? Lin Yi purposely asked. If you don't have time, then. Don't. Never mind. He's not my boyfriend. He's just one of my pursuers. Xiaoka quickly said. But I don't like him anymore. Oh, I didn't say never mind. What I meant was, why don't you eat first, and we can leave after dinner? Lin Yi said. But if you don't like him, why are you still going out with him? Wasn't it because I had no other choice? Xiaoka said gloomily. He's the biggest donor to the orphanage. At first, I thought that he just wanted to help the orphanage, and that's what he said. But later, he seemed to be interested in me, and I was afraid that he wouldn't continue donating to the orphanage, so I could only agree to his request to have a meal with me. I see. But, Xiaoka, to be honest, you should consider it. He must really like you if he keeps donating to you. He's someone who cares about you. I think you'll be happy if you're with him, right? Lin Yi said, trying to sound like a gentleman. But I only like you. Xiaoka said, if I didn't know you, I might consider it, but now, I really don't want to be with anyone else. Xiaoka said, don't worry, I'm actually tricking him. I asked him to give me 18,000 to treat me to a meal, and I'll treat him to a roadside stall after I get the money. And then I'll take the rest, I see? Lin Yi sweated as he listened to Xiaoka's evil laughter. This girl wanted to trick him, and now she told him. That's right, that's right. Then I'll look for you after the meal. Call me halfway, and I'll find an excuse to leave. How's that? Xiaoka asked. Call you? Lin Yi thought, I'm eating with you. How can I call you? I don't have a phone, and it's troublesome to call you. So why don't you find an excuse yourself? I see. That's fine, I'll think of something. If he doesn't let me go, I'll keep tricking him, and when he runs out of money, he'll let me go. Xiaoka said. Chapter 2687. Tang Yuqi's invitation, however, Lin Yi didn't think much of it. Wasn't it more interesting this way? If Xiaoka fell in love with Lin Yi, it would be a very difficult challenge. Lin Yi felt that it was a good game. To be honest, Lin Yi quite liked Xiaoka, and he didn't want her to continue like this. This girl would do anything for the children in the orphanage, and she even did some dangerous things. Lin Yi was afraid that she would die if she wasn't careful. All right, it's settled then. I'll wait for you at the entrance of the orphanage. Whoever gets there first will wait for each other, Lin Yi said. Okay, I'll see you there. Xiaoka said happily. Okay, see you there. Lin Yi shook his head and hung up. On the other side, after confirming the time with Xiaoka, Lin Yi called Boss Bai and told him that they would leave on Friday night. He told Boss Bai to prepare in advance. Boss Bai was fine with it as well. Lingshan received another call from Tang Yuqi. Lingshan had been playing along with Tang Yuqi, secretly observing his character, but Tang Yuqi wasn't a normal person. He was a detective, and he'd already noticed that Lingshan was hiding something from him. Because Tang Yuqi was a detective, he didn't act rashly. He used the care and patience of a detective and decided to become friends with Lingshan first, and then slowly find out the truth. Miss Song, are you free tonight? I'd like to treat you to dinner to thank you for your help all this time. Although I haven't heard anything from my second uncle, I'm very grateful that you've been helping me ask around, Tang Yuqi said. Lingshan hesitated. Tang Yuqi's words were so dignified that she couldn't reject him. Miss Song, you won't reject me, right? Tang Yuqi smiled. All right then. Lingshan actually wanted to observe Tang Yuqi's character and understand his true intentions and background, so she agreed. After all, Tang Yun's matter wasn't a small matter. She couldn't just tell Tang Yuqi about it. The dinner was arranged at a Western restaurant near the police station. Western food was synonymous with romance here, and most of the people who went there were couples. Lingshan and Tang Yuqi eating at a place like this would cause a lot of misunderstandings. Lingshan wanted to refuse, but Tang Yuqi was a Westerner who had just returned from overseas, and eating Western food would be as normal as eating at home. So Lingshan agreed. During dinner, the two only talked about Tang Yuqi's family. Lingshan didn't mention anything about Tang Yun and Tang Juqing, but Tang Yuqi wasn't in a rush to ask. It was as if he was expressing his gratitude to Lingshan, and this made Lingshan sigh in relief. But through this dinner, Lingshan realized that Tang Yuqi wasn't a bad person. She didn't know if he was just acting or not. Lingshan wouldn't open her mouth before she had a proper understanding of the situation. Time flew, and it was Friday night. Lin Yi carried a big backpack and went to Songshan in Boss Bai's car. Lin Yi didn't drive. If he did, it would be easy for Xiaoka to see through him. Boss Bai had a car as well, so he got in Boss Bai's car. In his backpack, Lin Yi had the Skybolt Pig and Thousand Silk mask. He didn't bring the male thief's mask. There was no need for it. I'll go visit her grandpa with Xin later. You go eat first. Call me when you're done, Boss Bai said to Linny. All right, Linny nodded. Lin E, be careful. Guan Xin heard that Lin E and Boss Bai were going to the tomb. She couldn't help but feel nervous. Lin E had been there once before, but she knew how dangerous the tomb was. She was worried because of the lingering fear. It's fine. This time is different from last time. With experience and with Skybolt Pig, it shouldn't be a problem. Lin E, on the other hand, had quite a lot of confidence. In fact, the second time he went to the tomb, it was because he met Skybolt Pig that the journey was very smooth. After all, Skybolt Pig's familiarity with the tomb far exceeded Lin E and Xiaoka's. That's good. Guan Xian let out a breath of relief. She was a little envious of Xiaoka. She could go on an adventure with Lin E, while she could only stand at a distance and watch Lin E. Guan Xian didn't ask for much, but she still hoped that she could become someone who could help Lin E, someone who could be useful to Lin E. Guan Xian swore to herself that she'd learn alchemy and help Lin E in the future. She'd become someone useful to Lin E, otherwise there'd be too many pretty girls around Lin E who'd only have pretty faces around him. Mr. Bai, have you thought about what I told you last time? Lin E asked. You're talking about recovery? Boss Bai immediately understood what Lin E was talking about. Yes, that's right. Lin E said, if you want to recover, there's no time like the present. Let's do it before we enter the tomb. I've thought about it. If it's possible, I'd naturally want to recover. But wouldn't that be a burden to you? Boss Bai hesitated for a moment and asked, I know that the spiritual energy of a cultivator is not for nothing. It is cultivated through hard work. I know that better than you. I'm afraid that it takes a lot of spiritual energy to heal someone. You just treated Jing Jing. Do you still have the energy to care about me? Plus, we're going to explore the tomb soon. Wouldn't that affect the plan? That won't happen. Lin, he shook his head. We're all on the same side here, and I'll be honest with you. I can help you recover, and even recover your strength, but because of my level restriction, I can only restore your strength to Mystic Late Phase Peak. Eat a small Qi gathering pill, and you'll be able to reach Earth Class Early Phase, but you'll be stuck there for the time being. Oh? What do you mean? Boss Bai was briefly stunned. Then he said, Are you suggesting that you can help me improve my capability to the peak of the late phase of the Mystic Class? After I take a minor Qi gathering pill and become an Earth Class expert, I won't be able to level up again? You could say that, unless you have a Qi gathering pill. Lin E said. Chapter 2688. Yu Xiaoka's treat, that's right, that's it. Maybe when I become a Sky Class, I can raise your strength to Earth Class Late Phase Peak. Lin E said, that's a drawback. If you don't agree, then I can only heal your injuries, and you can train on your own. That way, you won't be restricted. Train on my own? Boss Bai smiled bitterly after hearing Lin Yi's words. You don't think that my training on my own will be faster than you helping me, do you? When you become a Sky Class, I probably won't even be able to step into the Mystic Class. Compared to the Earth Class Late Phase Peak, it's naturally easier for you to help me. But you used to be a Heaven Class Late Phase Peak, right? Lin, he didn't even need to ask to know that Boss Bai must have been a Sky Class Late Phase Peak Master. Otherwise, how could Boss Bai not be a Sky Class Late Phase Peak Master if even his disciples were Sky Class Late Phase Peak Masters? Boss Bai was the head of the Five Elements sect. You're right, but you have to figure out how I got my Heaven Rank Late Stage Strength. First of all, that place is rich in spiritual energy, and there are countless treasures. There are all kinds of elixirs and cultivation resources. Naturally, the speed at which I improve my strength is not the same as now. Boss Bai explained, back then, my training could be said to be 1,000 miles a day, but now it's not bad to be able to reach 1 mile 1,000 days. There's no comparison at all. That's true. Linny nodded. He had forgotten about this before. Boss Bai was no different from a solo cultivator now. If he trained on his own, there wouldn't be any effect at all. And in that place, thinking about how Little 1 and Little 11 didn't even care about the energy stones in Sun Jingyi's hands, just how rich were the training resources in their sect. Although the energy in that energy stone was almost used up, if it were any other cultivator, they wouldn't let it go, right? But in the eyes of little 1 and little 11, it was just trash. So, if possible, please help me and Sheen to improve our strength. If Sheen cultivates with me, she won't be able to achieve much in her life unless... Boss Bai paused and did not continue. You're right. You're right. You're right. What's wrong? Lin, he was slightly taken aback. Nothing. Boss Bai shook his head. There are some things that you'd better not know for now. Linny nodded and didn't ask any questions. That's right. That's my plan for Guan Xin. I'm going to raise her strength all the way until she's the same as Jing. As for you, if you've made up your mind, then there's no problem. I'll raise your strength first tonight. Thanks a lot. Although Boss Bai had guessed the result, he was still thrilled that Lin Yi agreed in person. You don't have to thank me. You and I are master and disciple, and a disciple will do his best to heal his injuries. Plus, you're going to risk your life for the tomb because of my constitution? Linny smiled and waved his hand. Then I won't say thank you. Actually, apart from helping you, I also want to go to the ancient tomb to take a look. After all, this is the ancient tomb of our 5 Elements sect's founder. Boss Bai said. As they spoke, the car arrived at Guan Shuamin's villa area. Lin Yi followed Boss Bai and Guan Xin out of the car. Lin Yi wanted to visit Guan Shuamin first before going to find Xiaoke. Guan Shuamin was very excited when he found out that Lin Yi, his granddaughter, and his old friend were coming today. He was waiting at the entrance of the villa, and when he saw Boss Bai's car, he went up immediately. Old Bai Lil Yi, Sheen, you're back, Guan Shuamin said. Grandpa. Guan Xin hadn't seen her grandpa for a long time. She missed him very much. Sheen, how was it? Were you obedient in Grandpa Bai's house? Guan Shuamin asked with a smile. Grandpa and granddaughter met, old friend met, and it was a happy and harmonious reunion. Lin didn't stay for dinner because he had a date with Xiaoke. Lin, he carried his backpack and left the villa. He didn't drive, but walked to the orphanage. On the way, Lin, he called Xiaoke. Xiaoke was in a state of restlessness today. She was a little afraid that Lin would call, but Lin, he finally called. Hello. Xiaoke saw the caller ID of Lin E and sighed in her heart. She picked up the phone. Xiaoke, it's me. Lin E said, I'm at the entrance of the orphanage now. Where are you? I'll go out then. Xiaoke answered helplessly. She thought to herself, if it's a blessing, it's not a curse. Okay. Lin E nodded with a smile. After a while, Xiaoke walked out of the orphanage and saw Lin E standing there with his backpack. Xiaoke felt strange. Why didn't Lin E drive his car here? Xiaoke, you're so pretty. Lin E looked at Xiaoke. She had obviously dressed up today, but Lin E knew that she was dressing up to give herself another identity. It wasn't the current Lin E. Oh, Xiaoke replied faintly. Lin E guessed right. Xiaoke was dressing up for the male thief. After eating with Lin E, she probably wouldn't have time to dress up, so she had to dress up beforehand. I'm not dressing up for you. Huh? Lin E didn't mind at all. Lin E knew the truth. Naturally, he wouldn't argue with Xiaoke about it. What Xiaoke didn't know was that Lin E was laughing at her sarcasm. Just how thick was this guy's skin? Where's the money? Xiaoke couldn't be bothered to argue with Lin E. She reached out her hand. Lin E smiled and took out 2 stacks of money from his pocket. He was about to count out 20 bills from one of the stacks and give the rest to Xiaoke. But Xiaoke snatched it away from him. What are you doing? Lin E asked. No need to count. Keep the change. Xiaoke didn't wait for Lin E to reply. Didn't you want to treat me to a meal? Let's go. I'll take you there. Oh, okay. Lin E nodded and followed behind Xiaoke. The two turned here and there and came to a small alley. It was a food street in Donghai City. There were all sorts of snacks on this street, and it was very lively. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.